Today I will share with you some life-changing philosophy. Before we start, make sure to like the video and subscribe. Also, comment where are you watching from and at what time you are watching. Have a nice sleep. Change feels like one of those big, intimidating mountains to climb. We're all looking for the shortcut, the quick fix that will change everything in an instant. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that transformation has to happen overnight, that we need to take dramatic leaps or make drastic changes in order to see real progress. I get it. I've been there. You set a goal and at first the excitement is there, the motivation feels like a fire, ready to burn through anything in its way. But after a few days that fire dims and suddenly the whole thing feels too big, too overwhelming, so you stop. But what if I told you that the key to real, lasting change isn't in the grand gestures, but in the tiny, consistent steps? What if the transformation you're looking for was never meant to be a giant leap, but a series of small steps, taken day by day, that build on each other? That's the power of incremental change. It's easy to dismiss small actions as meaningless or too insignificant to make a difference, but it's these very actions that over time compound and create real progress. The first step starts with realizing that real change doesn't happen overnight. It's not about perfection, it's about progression. 7 days might seem like a small amount of time, but it's enough to create the foundation for something greater. In this video, you'll see how simple daily actions, things you can start today, can begin shaping your future self. By the end of the week, you'll begin to notice the shift in your mindset, your energy, and your clarity. Are you ready to see what's possible in just 7 days? Before we begin, please subscribe and tap the notification bell so you never miss out on more amazing videos like this. Let's get started. Micro-learning, making informal learning a daily routine. Staying sharp in today's world feels like a constant battle. We're bombarded by distractions at every turn, social media notifications, the never-ending stream of news, the constant pull of entertainment. It's hard to keep up with everything, let alone take the time to focus on something that truly expands our knowledge. Our attention spans are shorter, our minds pulled in a million directions. And yet, we all know the value of learning, of growing, evolving, and staying curious. But how? How do we make room for that in a world that seems to move faster than we can keep up? That's where the idea of micro-learning comes in. Micro-learning isn't about diving into textbooks or dedicating hours of your day to study. It's about small, bite-sized chunks of knowledge that you can consume daily in the midst of your busy life. We all know that we can't always sit down for an hour-long lecture or spend an entire afternoon reading a book. But what if, instead, you dedicated just 5 to 10 minutes every day to learning something new? You could watch a short video on YouTube about a topic that interests you, listen to a podcast during your morning commute, or read an article while you wait for your coffee. The key is to seek out small, digestible pieces of information that spark your curiosity. This habit doesn't require a huge commitment. It's about building a routine that keeps your mind engaged and open to new ideas. Pick something that piques your interest, whether it's learning about a historical event, discovering new productivity techniques, or exploring a completely new skill. The beauty of micro-learning is its flexibility. You can make it fit into your day, no matter how busy you are. Maybe you listen to a podcast on your lunch break, or watch a quick YouTube video while you unwind in the evening. It doesn't matter when or how long as you make it a regular part of your routine. What does this do for you? Well, aside from keeping your mind sharp, it expands your worldview. It helps you see things from new perspectives, fueling your curiosity and sparking ideas you never would have had otherwise. In a world that often feels overwhelming, microlearning is a powerful tool to stay adaptable and engaged. It's the perfect antidote to mental fatigue because it doesn't require long hours of focus. It's just a few minutes a day, but those minutes add up, building a steady rhythm of growth. Think about it. Over a week, a month, or even a year, those small pieces of knowledge start to accumulate. Suddenly, you're more well-read, more knowledgeable, and more confident in your ability to adapt to change. Even when life feels like it's moving at full speed, micro-learning gives you a chance to catch your breath and keep growing, one small step at a time. And that's the magic of it. When you embrace this habit, You're not just learning facts, you're building a mindset of curiosity and resilience. In a world that constantly demands more of us, micro-learning helps us stay present and evolve without feeling overwhelmed. So, what can you learn today? What's something you've always wanted to explore but never had the time for? Take a few minutes today to dive into that and see how it feels. You'll be surprised by how much it enriches your life and sharpens your mind, one small piece at a time. The key is consistency, and in just 7 days, you'll find that those small steps are already starting to lay the foundation for a more curious, adaptable, and well-informed version of yourself. Embrace the warrior mentality. There's a strange, almost magnetic pull toward comfort, isn't there? We all crave ease, whether it's lounging on the couch after a long day, choosing the path of least resistance, or avoiding those things that make us uncomfortable. And yet, it's when we face discomfort that growth begins. But let's be honest, discomfort feels hard. Whether it's physical, mental, or emotional, it's easy to back away when we feel weak or overwhelmed. Our minds start to convince us that we're not ready, that we're not strong enough. We tell ourselves, I'll do it tomorrow, and in that moment we choose comfort over growth. But what if there was another way? Let's take a look at the warrior mentality. Imagine waking up each day with the mindset of someone who thrives in discomfort. Not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. The warrior doesn't run from difficulty. They face it head-on, knowing that every obstacle is an opportunity to grow stronger. The warrior trains their mind to embrace the struggle because they understand that only by pushing beyond their limits can they discover their true potential. This is the mentality that separates those who stay stagnant from those who constantly evolve. It's not about having the best circumstances, it's about having the strength to thrive no matter what the circumstances are. And you can cultivate this strength, one step at a time. For the next 7 days, challenge yourself to take on something difficult, something that makes you uncomfortable. It doesn't have to be the hardest thing you've ever done. The key is to push yourself just beyond your current limits. Maybe you wake up 30 minutes earlier than usual, forcing yourself to start the day with focus and purpose. Perhaps it's committing to a workout that pushes your physical boundaries, or tackling a difficult conversation you've been avoiding. It could even be choosing to sit with your emotions, facing them head-on instead of numbing or running from them. Whatever it is, make it deliberate. Make it a small, actionable step toward embracing discomfort every single day. This practice isn't about being reckless or forcing yourself to endure unnecessary pain. It's about understanding that true growth lies in that space just beyond your comfort zone. Every time you choose to face discomfort, you're building resilience, muscle for the mind and body. The warrior knows that discomfort isn't the enemy. It's the forge where strength is made. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, knew this well. He believed that endurance, the ability to withstand difficulty, was a cornerstone of growth. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This isn't just a quote, it's a philosophy that teaches us to embrace what challenges us, because it's these very challenges that shape our character. So, as you move through this week, remember that every obstacle is a chance to train your mind, harden your spirit, and grow stronger. The discomfort you face is not a signal to stop. It's a sign that you're on the right path. Each time you lean into that discomfort, you're building the resilience that will carry you through anything life throws your way. At the end of the week, you'll look back not just on the hard things you've done, but on the person you've become in the process. Strength is forged in discomfort. The warrior mentality isn't something you're born with. It's something you build, one step at a time. And as you do, you'll find yourself more prepared for whatever challenges lie ahead, knowing that you are capable of much more than you ever imagined. Build discipline through daily practice. We've all been there, dreaming big, setting lofty goals, and imagining the incredible results we want to see. We get excited, ready to jump in and make a change. But then the hard truth sets in. Results don't happen overnight. The idea of instant transformation, of suddenly being great at something, feels enticing, but it's far from realistic. We want to skip past the struggle and get straight to the end where success is waiting. But facing reality is realizing that success doesn't come from shortcuts. It comes from consistent, daily effort. It comes from the discipline to keep showing up, even when you don't feel like it. Discipline is the key that unlocks all the potential you've been hoping to tap into. I'll give you an example. Think of someone who seems naturally gifted at something. Maybe they're a musician, an athlete, or even a writer. It's easy to assume they were born with that talent. But the truth is, talent only gets you so far. The real difference between those who succeed and those who don't is the commitment to consistent practice. I remember hearing about a musician who was far from the most naturally talented in his class. He didn't have the natural ease others seemed to possess. But what he had was discipline. He practiced relentlessly, every single day. Over time, his commitment turned what seemed like an insurmountable challenge into second nature. The truth is, discipline trumps talent every time. It's the muscle that turns raw potential into results. For the next 7 days, I challenge you to choose one area of your life, whether it's a skill you want to develop, a fitness goal you want to achieve, or a personal habit you want to strengthen, and practice it daily, whether it's 10 minutes or an hour. Make it a non-negotiable part of your routine. It's not about doing it perfectly. It's about showing up and doing the work, even when you don't feel like it. Over the week, you'll start to see the compound effect of your efforts. Small actions, repeated consistently, begin to add up. What seemed like a slow, insignificant effort at first will snowball into something powerful. You'll start to notice improvements in your skill, your focus, and your confidence. That's the beauty of discipline. It doesn't require perfection, only persistence. But discipline isn't just about achieving external results. It's about building character. Every time you choose to practice, you're not just getting better at your chosen skill. You're growing as a person. You're teaching yourself the value of persistence, the power of consistency, and the strength that comes from pushing through resistance. It's a reminder that growth is a process, and perfection is an illusion. You don't need to be perfect to improve. You don't need to get it right every time. What matters is that you show up again and again, trusting that each practice session is a step closer to mastery. Discipline isn't about being the best right now. It's about becoming better than you were yesterday. And when you take that approach, the results will follow naturally and steadily. So let go of the expectation of instant success and embrace the process. The results are inevitable when you commit to the work. Discipline, after all, is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Organize your space for greater clarity and productivity. Clutter has a way of creeping into our lives, doesn't it? Whether it's piles of paper on our desks, a chaotic inbox, or a cluttered mind that can't focus for more than a few minutes, the mess adds up. At first it seems harmless, just one more thing to deal with later. But over time, the clutter starts to weigh on us. It distracts us, makes it harder to think clearly, and drains our energy. You've probably experienced this. The more cluttered things get, the more overwhelmed you feel. Your mind mirrors the mess around you, constantly distracted and clouded, making it harder to focus and be productive. It's as if the physical mess outside reflects an internal state of disorganization. So, how do we break free from this constant feeling of overwhelm? The key lies in organizing your environment. The simple act of clearing clutter can do wonders for your mental clarity. When your space is clean, everything becomes easier. You can find what you need quickly. Your mind feels less chaotic. The energy in the room shifts. A tidy space creates room for better thinking. It's no coincidence that when we feel productive, our surroundings tend to be more organized. A well-kept space isn't just about appearances, it's about functionality. It's about reducing distractions so your mind can focus on what truly matters. Organizing your environment isn't just about creating an aesthetically pleasing space. It's about giving yourself the mental clarity to think more clearly, to work with focus, and to live with intention. I'd love to challenge you this coming week to spend just 5-10 minutes a day decluttering or organizing one space in your life. Maybe start with your desk. Clear off papers, organize your files, and give yourself a clean slate to work with. Or tackle your digital space, sort through your emails, delete files you no longer need, and organize your digital folders. Pick one small area each day, and as you declutter, notice how it makes you feel. At first, it might seem like a small, insignificant effort, but as you continue this habit each day, you'll start to see the cumulative impact. Each small act of tidying up creates more room for focus, creativity, and productivity. It's the compound effect of creating an environment where clarity can thrive. As you clear the physical clutter, take a moment to reflect on how it affects your mental state. A clean space doesn't just help you be more productive, it helps you think more clearly. It creates the mental space to focus on what's important. Just like how decluttering a room makes it easier to find what you need, organizing your thoughts and priorities becomes much easier when your environment is clean and intentional. When you make room in your surroundings, you make room in your mind. The less cluttered your environment, the more space you have to focus on your goals, your passions, and your growth. So take the first step. Start with one area today. The small wins will build up, and soon you'll realize that by organizing your space, you've also organized your mind. A clean environment isn't just about external order. It's about creating the mental clarity that leads to true productivity and peace of mind. Exercise to boost body and mind. We've all been there. The gym membership, the workout routine, the motivation that comes in waves and quickly fades. At first, we're determined to make fitness a priority. We set goals, buy the gear, and start off strong. But then, somewhere along the way, it starts to feel like a chore. The motivation wanes and working out feels like something we have to do rather than something we want to do. It's easy to get caught up in the cycle of pushing through just to check the box, but deep down we know it's not working. Exercise starts to feel like a burden rather than a gift. So, what if we could change that? What if we could see exercise not just as a physical obligation, but as an opportunity to elevate not only our bodies, but also our minds? Exercise is far more than just a way to stay in shape. It's a powerful tool for mental and emotional well-being. When you move your body, you do more than burn calories and build strength. You're improving your mood, reducing stress, and sharpening your mind. Studies show that regular physical activity boosts brain function, improves memory, and helps with emotional regulation. It's like a reset button for your mind. The endorphins released during exercise can lift your mood, calm your nerves, and increase your sense of focus and clarity. Exercise isn't just about looking better, it's about feeling better, inside and out. It's a connection that many overlook, but when you begin to experience it for yourself, it becomes impossible to ignore. A workout can be the reset your mind needs to tackle life's challenges with resilience and focus. For the next week, commit to starting with just 10 minutes of exercise each day. Keep it simple and achievable. Consistency is more important than intensity right now. Maybe you start with a brisk walk, some body weight exercises like push-ups or squats, or even a quick yoga session. The goal is not to push your limits right away, but to show up every day. Get your body moving, even if it's just for a short time. As you build this habit, try mixing it up to avoid the monotony of doing the same thing every day. Try a new workout style, explore a different activity, or challenge yourself in a new way. The key here is consistency. Don't worry about making it perfect, just commit to doing it daily. Over time, those 10 minutes will feel less like a task and more like a vital part of your routine. As you continue to exercise, think about the bigger picture. Each time you push yourself physically, you're also pushing yourself mentally and emotionally. Exercise builds resilience. It's not just about physical endurance. It's about learning how to push through discomfort, to show up even when you don't feel like it, and to grow through challenges. That moment when you feel like you can't go any further, whether you're running, lifting weights, or stretching, can teach you more about yourself than any other task. The mental toughness you develop in these moments carries over into other areas of life. You learn that you can handle more than you thought. You learn to sit with discomfort, knowing that it's temporary and that growth often comes from pushing beyond what you thought were your limits. So, as you commit to these daily workouts, remember that you're not just training your body, you're strengthening your mind, your emotions, and your resilience. Exercise isn't just physical, it's a tool for becoming the best version of yourself. When you show up for your body, you're also showing up for your mental and emotional growth. The power of small habits. As we reflect on the past week, it's easy to see that small, intentional actions add up in ways we don't always notice at first. Whether it was dedicating a few minutes each day to learning something new, embracing discomfort to build resilience, committing to daily practice, organizing your space for clarity, or incorporating exercise to strengthen both body and mind, each of these habits has laid the groundwork for something bigger. The key takeaway here is simple. 7 days, while short, is more than enough to get the ball rolling. It's the start of a journey, not the end. These small habits are like seeds that, with consistency, will grow into something meaningful and life-changing. But don't stop here. As you continue to integrate these habits into your routine, you'll begin to notice not just changes in the external world around you, but internal shifts as well. Each day you show up for yourself. Each time you decide to practice discipline, push through discomfort, or make space for growth, you're creating momentum. The beauty of momentum is that once it's in motion, it becomes easier to keep going. Each step forward builds on the one before, creating a ripple effect of change. It's not about achieving perfection or expecting instant results. It's about committing to the process, trusting that each small action compounds over time, leading to lasting transformation. Change, as we know, is rarely immediate, and it's certainly not always linear. But every day you put in the effort, you're reinforcing the foundation of a better version of yourself. The work you put in now is what will pay off in the future. So, keep going. Have you ever felt utterly overwhelmed by the noise around you? The endless stream of opinions, expectations, and the relentless pressure of keeping up? Imagine this. Ancient Stoic philosophers over 2,000 years ago faced the same human emotions, struggles, and questions about identity and purpose that we grapple with today. It's fascinating, isn't it, that the wisdom from centuries past still holds profound relevance in our modern, fast-paced world. Today, we're diving deep into the Stoic way of life, uncovering timeless truths that can help us navigate the chaos of the 21st century with grace, resilience, and profound inner peace. Whether you're struggling with stress, seeking meaning, or simply curious about a philosophical approach to life that has stood the test of time, you're in the right place. Together we'll explore how Stoicism isn't just a set of ideas, but a practical guide to living more fully, authentically, and serenely. And if you're eager to embark on this journey of self-discovery and timeless wisdom with us, please hit that subscribe button. And remember, every part of this video is crafted with you in mind, so don't skip any section. Each moment is a step towards a more stoic, resilient you. Isn't it curious how, at some point in our lives, we find ourselves entangled in the web of others' opinions? We often surrender our peace of mind and happiness trying to fit into the molds others create for us. But let's pause for a moment and delve into ancient Stoic wisdom. Marcus Aurelius emphasized the futility of seeking external approval. He urges us to question this innate desire to please others, challenging us to break free from the chains of external validation. It's a liberating thought, isn't it? To realize that the only approval you truly need is your own. Now, think about it. When you lay your head on your pillow at night, it's your thoughts you're left with, not others. So why not make those thoughts about your true self, your values, and your actions? Imagine the freedom of being unapologetically you, not swayed by fleeting opinions or the latest trends. But how do we start caring less about people's opinions? It begins with understanding and reaffirming your values. What do you stand for? What matters most to you? When your actions are in harmony with your beliefs, there's a profound sense of peace and authenticity that no amount of external approval can match. Moreover, embracing your uniqueness attracts the right kind of people into your life. Those who appreciate you for who you genuinely are, not for who they want you to be. It's about quality, not quantity. Having a few meaningful relationships based on mutual respect and understanding is infinitely more fulfilling than seeking the fleeting approval of the masses. It's crucial to remember that people's opinions are just that, opinions. They are subjective, variable, and often more reflective of the person expressing them than of you. As Marcus Aurelius wisely points out, the only constant and true validation comes from within, from living a life aligned with your values and principles. When we talk about being honest, it's easy to default to the idea of not lying to others. But Stoicism invites us to explore honesty on a much deeper level. It's about aligning our external actions and words with our internal values and beliefs. This alignment fosters a profound sense of integrity and wholeness. Imagine the peace that comes from knowing your actions are not just surface-level performances, but true reflections of your inner self. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, really hammers this point home. He suggests that honesty doesn't just make moral sense, it makes practical sense. Think about it. Deceit requires us to remember our lies, cover our tracks, and live in constant fear of being found out. It's mentally exhausting. Honesty, on the other hand, is simple and liberating. It frees us from the tangled web of deceit and allows us to live with ease and clarity. But here's the real kicker. Honesty affects not only our relationship with others, but also with ourselves. When we are honest with ourselves about our strengths, our flaws, and our desires, we pave the way for genuine growth and self-acceptance. It's like clearing out the clutter in our minds to make room for more peace, more understanding, and more authentic connections with the people around us. And yet, embracing honesty is not always easy. It requires courage and vulnerability. It means sometimes admitting we were wrong, facing our mistakes, and dealing with the consequences of our actions. But the reward, trust, respect, and a clear conscience is immeasurably worth it. So how can we cultivate this virtue in our daily lives? It starts with small steps. Practice transparency in your interactions. Reflect on your day and acknowledge moments where you might not have been entirely honest. Ask yourself why and how you can improve. Remember, it's a journey, and every step toward honesty is a step toward a more serene and meaningful life. We've all felt that sting, that immediate reaction when someone's words or actions seem to hit us right where it hurts. Seneca, with his profound understanding of human nature, reminds us to look beyond the surface. He suggests that when someone acts in a way that we find hurtful or offensive, it's often not really about us at all. People act based on their perceptions, their struggles, and their history. It's like everyone is moving through the world wearing a unique pair of glasses that color how they see everything around them, including us. Now, think about a time when you might have snapped at someone or acted in a way that wasn't really you. Chances are you were dealing with something else entirely. Stress, fear, insecurity, or maybe you were just having a really bad day. Now, if we can recognize this in ourselves, why not extend that same understanding to others? This perspective shift, which Seneca advocates, is about empathy, but it's also about self-preservation. When we stop taking things personally, we detach ourselves from the unnecessary pain that comes with believing everyone's actions are about us. It's like setting down a heavy burden we've been carrying around. Suddenly, we can breathe, move, and live more freely. But how do we actually do this? How do we stop taking things personally, especially when our emotions are already flared up? It starts with a pause. When you feel that rush of hurt or anger, just pause. Take a breath. Remind yourself of Seneca's words. This might not be about me at all. This simple act of pausing can prevent a reactive spiral and give you space to choose a more reasoned response. It's also about building resilience and understanding. The more we remind ourselves that we don't have the full picture of what someone else is going through, the less likely we are to be wounded by their actions or words. And when we do get hurt, because it will happen, we can treat it as a practice ground for our Stoic principles. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can it help me grow? In embracing this Stoic approach, we not only protect our peace of mind, but also open ourselves up to more compassionate and meaningful interactions. We become less reactive, more understanding, and, in a way, more connected to the humanity in everyone we meet. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about patience. He saw it not just as a passive waiting, but as an active engagement with the present moment, whatever it may hold. To him, being patient was akin to donning armor against the trials of life, transforming potential irritants into lessons of endurance and calm. Think about it. When you're stuck in traffic, there's a kind of freedom in accepting that you can't move faster than the cars in front of you. It's an opportunity to listen to your favorite music, an audiobook, or simply to your own thoughts. This shift doesn't change the traffic, but it changes how you experience it, turning a frustrating wait into a moment of peace or even enjoyment. Similarly, when dealing with a challenging person, imagine if, instead of reacting with irritation or anger, you responded with patience. You give yourself a moment to understand where they're coming from, to recognize that their behavior is more about their own struggles than anything else. This doesn't mean you accept bad behavior, but you respond to it with composure and thoughtfulness, which often diffuses tension and leads to better outcomes for everyone involved. Patience, in the Stoic sense, is about embracing the moment rather than fighting against it. It's about seeing the delay, the annoyance, or the obstacle as part of the path, not a deviation from it. Every moment of impatience is a chance to practice, to deepen your understanding of Stoicism, and to cultivate a serene mind. But how can we cultivate this patience in our everyday lives? It starts with awareness. Recognize when impatience is starting to bubble up inside you. Then pause. Take a deep breath. Remember Marcus Aurelius and the countless others who have faced far greater trials with patience and dignity. Another practical step is to adjust your expectations. Often our impatience stems from things not going according to our plan. But if we remind ourselves that we're not in control of everything, only our response to things, we can set more realistic expectations and find peace in the unfolding of life. However it happens, view each test of patience as an opportunity, not a hurdle. Like a muscle that gets stronger with exercise, your capacity for patience grows every time you choose it over frustration or anger. And the rewards are immense: a calmer mind, less stress, and a reputation as someone who is composed and thoughtful, even in challenging situations. Epictetus knew a thing or two about adversity and integrity. He didn't just lecture about Stoicism in the classroom. He lived it every single day, and he encouraged his students to do the same, to embody their philosophy. It's about making your life a testament to your values, letting your actions speak louder than your words. Imagine the ripple effect you can create by simply living out your principles. When you show kindness, even in difficult situations, others take notice. It might inspire them to act kindly in turn. When you demonstrate integrity, refusing to compromise on your values, it sets a standard for those around you. And when you face adversity with resilience, maintaining a calm and composed demeanor, it can be a beacon of hope for others who are struggling. But how do we actually do this? How do we become an example for others? It starts with self-reflection. Take a moment to consider the values that are truly important to you. What principles do you want to guide your life? Once you have clarity on these, strive to align your actions with your values. It's about making conscious choices every day that reflect who you are and what you stand for. Of course, nobody's perfect. We all have our moments of weakness, our lapses in judgment. But being an example isn't about perfection, it's about striving. It's about making a genuine effort to live according to your ideals, even when it's hard. And when you do slip up, it's about owning your mistakes, learning from them, and moving forward with even greater resolve. Another key aspect of being an example is consistency. It's not just about doing the right thing when it's easy or when people are watching. It's about being consistent in your values, whether you're in the spotlight or alone. This consistency builds trust and respect, and it's what truly sets an example for others. Let's take inspiration from Epictetus and strive to be living embodiments of our philosophy. Whether it's kindness, integrity, resilience, or any other virtue, let's bring it to life in our actions. Remember, you have the power to inspire, to influence, and to make a positive impact on the world around you. Be the change you wish to see, and watch how your example can light the way for others. It seems everywhere we turn, social media, news outlets, even our daily interactions, there's a barrage of negativity, criticism, and yes, the haters. It can be exhausting, but they don't have to dictate your happiness. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about maintaining one's inner peace amidst external turmoil. He spoke of the inner citadel, a fortress within us that no external negativity can breach unless we allow it. This concept is incredibly empowering. Think about it. You have the power to create and maintain a space of peace and calm within you, no matter what storms rage outside. So, how do we tune out the haters and keep our inner citadel secure? First and foremost, it's about recognizing what is and isn't within our control. We can't control what others say or do, the harsh comments they leave, the unkind rumors they spread. But we can control our response. We can choose not to engage, not to internalize their negativity, and not to let it disturb our peace. Another key Stoic strategy is to reflect on the intention behind the negativity. Often those who lash out are struggling with their own issues, insecurities, or pain. Understanding this doesn't excuse their behavior, but it can help us respond with compassion rather than defensiveness or anger. It allows us to see their negativity as their burden, not ours. Practicing mindfulness is also a powerful tool in maintaining our inner citadel. When faced with negativity, take a moment to pause and breathe. Remind yourself that this moment of negativity is just that, a moment. It will pass. You don't have to let it define your day or your mood. By staying present and grounded, you can keep your inner peace intact. It's also helpful to surround yourself with positivity, engage with uplifting content, connect with supportive people, fill your environment with things that bring you joy and peace. Remember, you have the power to curate your own life experience. Choose positivity and let the negativity slide by. Remember that tuning out the haters is not about building walls or becoming indifferent. It's about choosing where to focus your energy and attention. It's about preserving your inner peace and strength so you can face challenges with grace and resilience. Stoicism might seem all about rationality, but there's a big place for love too. Seneca tells us that love isn't just something you feel, it's something you do. It's an active, vibrant energy that you put out into the world, and it has this beautiful boomerang effect. The more love you give, the more you find it coming back to you, often from the most unexpected places. But what does it mean? To be full of love, in a Stoic sense, is about approaching every interaction, every person, with goodwill and benevolence. It's seeing the humanity in everyone, even those who are challenging to deal with. It means wishing well for others, genuinely desiring their happiness and well-being, regardless of how they feel about you. This isn't always easy, especially when faced with negativity or hostility. But it's a powerful stance that can transform not just your own life, but also the lives of those around you. Being full of love also means practicing forgiveness and understanding. Everyone we meet is fighting their own battle, carrying their own burdens. By choosing love and compassion, we lighten their load and our own. We connect on a deeper level, recognizing our shared humanity. Moreover, Stoicism teaches us that love extends beyond just our relationships with people. It's about cultivating a loving relationship with life itself, embracing all its twists and turns with open arms. It's finding joy in the simple things, appreciating the beauty around us, and engaging with the world in a meaningful, positive way. So how can we cultivate this loving, Stoic approach to life? Start small. Offer a kind word to a stranger. Show appreciation to your loved ones. Practice gratitude daily. Reflect on your actions and intentions, asking yourself if they're rooted in love and kindness. And when you encounter negativity or unkindness, try to respond with understanding and compassion. Remember, being full of love isn't about being naive or ignoring the harsh realities of the world. It's about choosing to respond to those realities with love rather than fear or anger. It's a courageous, powerful choice that can lead to true contentment and connection. How often do we find ourselves scrolling through social media, looking at someone else's highlight reel, and feeling like we just don't measure up? But here's a Stoic antidote to this pervasive issue. Focus on your own path, your own growth, and your own achievements. The Stoics, with their profound wisdom, teach us that the only comparison worth making is with who we were yesterday, not with someone else today. This idea is so liberating when you really think about it. Imagine freeing yourself from the endless cycle of looking over your shoulder, worrying about what everyone else is doing and feeling inadequate. The Stoics offer us a different perspective. Your journey is yours alone, rich with its own challenges, triumphs, and lessons. By embracing this, you honor your unique path and cultivate a sense of self-worth that isn't reliant on external validation. But how do we put this into practice, especially in a world that constantly urges us to compare and compete? First, it's about becoming mindful of when we're making these comparisons. Notice that twinge of envy or self-doubt when you see someone else's success or happiness. Acknowledge it, and then gently remind yourself, my path is different, and that's okay. Next, actively celebrate your own achievements, no matter how small they may seem. Did you tackle a difficult task at work? Did you show kindness to a stranger? Did you make time for self-care? These are all victories worth acknowledging. By celebrating your own progress, you reinforce the idea that your journey is valid and valuable. Another powerful Stoic practice is reflecting on your personal growth. Take time to look back at where you were a year ago, 5 years ago, or even a decade ago. Recognize the strides you've made, the obstacles you've overcome, and the lessons you've learned. This reflection not only boosts your self-esteem, but also deepens your appreciation for your unique journey. And remember, the Stoics didn't just talk about personal achievements in terms of career success or material gain. They valued wisdom, virtue, resilience, and inner peace. So when you measure your progress, consider these deeper, more meaningful markers of growth. Are you more patient than you used to be? More compassionate? More resilient? These are the kinds of achievements that truly reflect your growth as a person. In the whirlwind of our daily lives, it's so easy to get caught up in the minutiae, the endless to-do lists and the relentless pursuit of our personal goals. But Stoicism, with its profound insights into the human condition, reminds us of what's genuinely important, the connections we share with the people we love. Stoicism might seem like it's all about self-discipline and resilience, but at its heart, it's deeply concerned with community and relationships. The Stoics understood that our time on this earth is precious and not to be taken for granted. They encourage us to live in the present, to appreciate the here and now, and to value the people who add meaning and joy to our lives. But how do we put this into practice, especially when life gets busy and we get distracted? It starts with mindfulness, with making a conscious effort to be present when we're with our loved ones. It means really listening when they speak, engaging with them fully, and showing them through our actions that they matter to us. Expressing gratitude is another key aspect. It's about letting our loved ones know that we appreciate them, not just in grand gestures, but in the everyday small moments that truly define our relationships. A simple thank you, a note of appreciation, or a kind word can mean so much. It acknowledges the value of the other person and the contribution they make to our lives. And then there's expressing love, which can be done in countless ways, tailored to the individual and the relationship. It might be spending quality time together, offering support during challenging times, or sharing joys and successes. Love, in the Stoic sense, is active and engaged. It's about showing up for people, being there in the moments that matter. Making time for our loved ones is perhaps the most crucial part. In our busy lives, it's all too easy to let relationships slide, to assume that people will always be there. But the Stoic reminder of the impermanence of life urges us to prioritize our relationships, to carve out time for those who matter most, even when it feels like there are a million other things demanding our attention. Cherishing our loved ones is about recognizing the irreplaceable role they play in our lives and honoring that with our time, our attention, and our affection. It's about building and nurturing those bonds, knowing that they are the true source of richness and meaning in our lives. Remember that the journey of life is one we share with those we hold dear. Cherish every moment, embrace every opportunity to show love, and never underestimate the power of presence. In the chaos of our daily lives, it's easy to feel like we're drowning in a sea of stress and uncertainty. Yet, there's a way to find calm amidst the storm, a path to inner peace that has stood the test of time. Picture this: despite everything that's thrown at you, work pressures, personal conflicts, unexpected challenges, you can stand firm, unshaken, and serene. This isn't just a dream, it's the essence of Stoicism, a philosophy that teaches us how to master our emotions and reactions to live a more fulfilled life. Today we're diving into the heart of Stoicism, exploring 10 timeless principles that can transform the way you navigate life's inevitable ups and downs. These principles are not abstract theories, but practical tools that you can apply every day to build resilience and inner strength. Whether you're struggling with a difficult relationship, feeling overwhelmed by your responsibilities, or simply seeking a deeper sense of purpose, the wisdom of Stoicism offers profound insights and practical strategies to help you thrive. Stay with me as we journey through these powerful Stoic teachings, from learning how to maintain a firm purpose in life to mastering the art of emotional control. Each principle is a stepping stone to a life where external events no longer dictate your inner peace. By the end of this video, you'll have the knowledge and tools to cultivate a state of calm and confidence no matter what life throws your way. So, let's embark on this transformative journey together and discover how the ancient wisdom of Stoicism can help you achieve unshakable tranquility and true happiness. If you appreciate what we're doing here, a simple, free favor I'll ask from you is to hit the subscribe button, and don't skip any part of the video. Imagine setting sail on a vast ocean without a clear destination. You drift aimlessly, subject to every shift in the wind and wave. That's what life feels like without a firm purpose, directionless and vulnerable to external forces. Epictetus emphasized the importance of having clear, firm purposes. He said, "Difficulties show a person's character, and the greater the difficulty, the more glory in surmounting it." This isn't just a philosophical musing. It's a call to action. When you have a firm purpose, it's like having a compass that guides you through life's tumultuous seas. This purpose doesn't appear out of nowhere. It's crafted through moments of deep reflection on what truly matters to you. It's not just about career goals or personal achievements, but also about the principles and values you want to dedicate your life to. What do you stand for? What kind of person do you aspire to be? These are the questions you need to answer to find your firm purpose. Once you identify your purpose, it acts as an anchor, grounding you amidst the chaos. Life will throw challenges your way. This is inevitable. But with a firm purpose, these challenges become more manageable. They turn from insurmountable mountains into stepping stones that you can climb. Think of it this way. When your goals and values are crystal clear, the world around you seems to shrink. Colossal challenges become small steps in the journey toward your ultimate purpose. This inner strength, cultivated through Stoic wisdom, cannot be easily defeated. A firm purpose is not something you stumble upon by chance. It's the result of deliberate, deep reflection on what genuinely matters to you. This reflection requires time and honesty. You must dig deep into your soul, beyond superficial desires and fleeting wants, to discover what truly drives you. This might involve reevaluating your life's direction, shedding old habits, or embracing new perspectives. It's a continuous process of self-discovery and alignment with your true self. Once you've found this purpose and ingrained it into your heart, the next step is to apply diligence to protect and nurture it. This involves perseverance and a steadfast commitment to your goals. It's about showing up every day, even when the going gets tough. It's about pushing through setbacks and failures, knowing that they are part of the journey. Remember, a firm purpose isn't just a destination. It's a guiding light that helps you navigate life's journey with confidence and resilience. Think of a firm purpose as a beacon in the night. It not only guides you, but also provides a sense of security and stability. When life's whirlwinds try to pull you off course, your firm purpose acts as a lifebuoy, keeping you from sinking into the sea of emotions and difficult circumstances. This is the power of Stoicism. It's not just a set of rules for living. It's a profound understanding of the power of will and determination. Epictetus reminds us that true power lies in our ability to stay committed to our purpose despite external obstacles. In the light of this philosophy, nothing is impossible and nothing can shake your resilient spirit. So, take some time to reflect deeply on your purpose. Write it down, internalize it, and let it guide you. This firm purpose will be your anchor, your beacon, and your unwavering guide through the storms of life. When someone offends us, it's natural to feel hurt and want to retaliate. But here's where Stoicism steps in with a powerful lesson. Our emotions are the result of our thoughts and personal perspectives. This means we have the power to choose how to respond to any situation. Instead of letting offense overwhelm us, we can see it as an opportunity to strengthen our patience and self-awareness. Think of it like this. Every time you resist the urge to react impulsively, you're building a mental muscle. You're training your mind to remain calm and composed no matter what. Mind control is not just a skill, it's an art that requires daily practice. Start with small habits that help you regain control over your thoughts. For instance, set small, achievable goals every day. Each time you accomplish a goal, no matter how minor, you build self-confidence and reinforce your ability to control your mind. Focus on living in the present moment and deepening your understanding of your emotions. When you start to realize that you have the power to choose your reactions, you'll become resilient to challenges and less swayed by negative emotions. Consider the story of a baker who dedicates every day to perfecting their craft. This baker isn't swayed by excessive criticism or praise. They focus solely on improving their skills, paying no mind to external opinions. This single-minded dedication allows them to achieve true freedom and inner peace. Similarly, by guarding your mind against external influences, you can focus on your own growth. Guarding your mind also involves setting boundaries. Be mindful of what you allow into your mental space. Just as you wouldn't let garbage into your home, don't let negative thoughts, toxic people, or harmful media clutter your mind. Surround yourself with positive influences that uplift and inspire you. Read books that expand your knowledge, engage in conversations that challenge and grow your thinking, and spend time with people who support and encourage you. Stoic philosophy isn't just a classical discipline. It's a powerful tool for modern life. By learning to control our minds and handle our emotions maturely, we can achieve genuine peace and freedom amidst a volatile and uncertain world. This isn't about suppressing emotions, but understanding them deeply and responding in a way that aligns with our values and purpose. One practical technique is to practice mindfulness or meditation. These practices help you become more aware of your thoughts and emotions, creating a gap between stimulus and response. In that gap lies your power and freedom. By regularly practicing mindfulness, you train your mind to observe without immediately reacting, giving you greater control over your emotional landscape. Another aspect of guarding your mind is cultivating a growth mindset. Embrace challenges as opportunities for growth rather than threats to your comfort. When you encounter difficulties, remind yourself that every obstacle is a chance to become stronger and wiser. This shift in perspective can transform how you experience adversity, making you more resilient and less susceptible to negative influences. Remember, guarding your mind is a lifelong journey. It's about consistently choosing to focus on what you can control, your thoughts, your responses, and your attitudes. It's about rejecting the victim mentality and embracing the role of an active creator of your own experience. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. And soon enough, you'll find that external events have less and less power over your inner peace. Epictetus taught that we cannot control the opinions or actions of others, but we can control how we react to them. This principle means that even when someone criticizes us harshly, we have the power to decide how much that criticism will affect us. In today's world, this translates to accepting that everyone has their own perspectives and values, which may not always align with ours. It's normal to encounter differing opinions and sometimes harsh words. What matters is how we process and respond to these situations. The first step in handling criticism is understanding ourselves deeply. When you have a clear understanding of your motivations and the reasons behind your actions, criticism from others loses its sting. If you know you are acting according to your values and principles, negative words from others become less significant. This self-awareness creates a strong foundation that protects you from being easily swayed by external opinions. When faced with criticism, instead of reacting defensively, take a moment to pause and reflect. Ask yourself if there is any truth in the criticism. Sometimes even harsh feedback can contain valuable insights that can help us grow. This doesn't mean you have to accept all criticism as valid, but being open to considering it shows maturity and a willingness to learn. Stoicism also teaches the importance of patience and gentleness. Patience allows us to maintain our composure and not react hastily or negatively to criticism. Gentleness helps us maintain good relationships with others, even when they disagree with us or criticize us. Think of the lives of saints and ascetics who faced harm and insult with patience and kindness, always holding fast to their chosen path. By practicing patience and gentleness, we can handle criticism without letting it disrupt our inner peace. Handling criticism also involves developing a thick skin. This doesn't mean becoming indifferent or ignoring feedback, but rather building resilience. It's about understanding that not all criticism is about you. Sometimes people criticize others because of their own insecurities, frustrations, or misunderstandings. By recognizing this, you can depersonalize the criticism and not let it affect your self-worth. Remember that you have the power to choose your response. This freedom is central to Stoic philosophy. Just because someone criticizes you doesn't mean you have to accept their judgment as the final word on your character or abilities. You can choose to take what's useful and discard the rest. This selective approach to handling criticism allows you to grow without being weighed down by negativity. Engaging in constructive dialogue is another effective way to handle criticism. If the criticism comes from someone close, like a friend or family member, consider discussing it with them. Ask for clarification and express your perspective calmly. This not only helps resolve any misunderstandings, but also strengthens your relationships by fostering open communication and mutual respect. Handling criticism effectively can inspire others. When people see you responding to criticism with grace, composure, and a willingness to learn, they are likely to admire your strength and follow your example. You become a role model for resilience and emotional intelligence, embodying the principles of Stoicism in everyday life. Epictetus taught that what frightens and dismays us is not the events themselves, but how we think about them. This means that when someone offends you, it's not their words or actions that hurt you, but rather your perception and reaction to those words or actions. In other words, the power lies within you to decide how much an offense will impact you. This principle is liberating because it shifts the control from external circumstances to your internal world. Transforming offense isn't about denying your emotion. It's natural to feel hurt or angry when you're offended. Stoicism teaches us to acknowledge these emotions without being controlled by them. It's about creating a space between the stimulus and your response. In that space lies your power to choose a response that aligns with your values and long-term goals. One practical way to transform offense is through cognitive reframing. When you feel offended, try to look at the situation from a different angle. Instead of focusing on the negative, ask yourself what you can learn from this experience. This doesn't mean you have to agree with the offender, but it allows you to extract any potential lessons and grow from them. For instance, if a friend criticizes your lifestyle choices, instead of taking it personally, consider if there's any merit to their observation, or if it's an opportunity to affirm your commitment to your values. Stoicism also emphasizes the importance of empathy. When someone offends you, try to put yourself in their shoes. What might they be going through that caused them to act this way? This perspective can help you respond with compassion rather than anger. It's not about excusing bad behavior, but about understanding the human condition and recognizing that everyone has their struggles. Another powerful technique is to practice forgiveness. Holding on to offense and resentment only harms you. It's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. By choosing to forgive, you free yourself from the burden of negative emotions. Forgiveness doesn't mean condoning the offense, but rather releasing its hold on you. It's a gift you give yourself, allowing you to move forward with peace and clarity. Stoic philosophy also teaches us that true strength lies in embracing and overcoming difficulties, not in avoiding them. Every offense you encounter is an opportunity to build your resilience. Just like a muscle grows stronger through resistance, your character strengthens through facing and transforming offenses. The more you practice this, the more naturally it will come, until you find that external events have little power to disturb your inner peace. Remember that transforming offense is a practice. It's not something you perfect overnight. It requires patience, self-awareness, and a commitment to personal growth. Each time you choose to transform an offense, you're reinforcing a positive habit and making it easier to respond constructively in the future. Epictetus pointed out a profound truth. We are the ones who assign meaning to events, thus creating fear and shame within our souls. This means that these emotions are not inherent in the situations themselves, but are products of our interpretations. Once we understand this, we can begin to change the way we perceive and respond to fear and shame. Fear often arises from the unknown or the anticipation of negative outcomes. It's a natural response meant to protect us, but it can become debilitating if left unchecked. Stoicism teaches us to face our fears head-on. Instead of avoiding what scares us, we should examine it closely. Ask yourself, what exactly am I afraid of? Break it down into specific concerns. Often, you'll find that the fear loses its power when you analyze it rationally. For instance, imagine you're afraid of public speaking. This fear might stem from the worry of being judged or making mistakes. But by breaking it down, you realize that the audience is not there to judge you harshly. They are there to listen and learn. And even if you make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. Every speaker stumbles at some point. By facing this fear and preparing thoroughly, you gradually build confidence. Each time you speak, you chip away at the fear, and it becomes more manageable. Shame is a deep-seated emotion that can make us feel unworthy or flawed. It often stems from societal pressures or past mistakes. Stoicism teaches us to confront shame with courage and self-compassion. It's about accepting our imperfections and learning from our experiences rather than being defined by them. Consider a situation where you feel ashamed of a past mistake. Instead of allowing this shame to fester, face it directly. Reflect on the mistake and understand why it happened. What can you learn from it? How can you use this experience to grow and become a better person? This process of reflection and learning helps you transform shame into a valuable lesson rather than a source of self-loathing. Another powerful tool in overcoming shame is self-forgiveness. Holding on to shame keeps us trapped in a cycle of self-criticism. By forgiving ourselves, we release the heavy burden and allow ourselves to move forward. This doesn't mean excusing our mistakes, but acknowledging them, learning from them, and then letting them go. It's a crucial step in healing and personal growth. To practice overcoming fear and shame, start with small steps. Expose yourself gradually to situations that trigger these emotions. Use each experience as a learning opportunity. Over time, you'll build resilience and find that what once terrified or shamed you no longer has the same hold over you. This gradual exposure and reflection help to desensitize you to fear and shame, making them more manageable. Stoicism also teaches the importance of community and support. Share your fears and feelings of shame with trusted friends or mentors. Opening up about these emotions can be liberating and provide you with new perspectives and encouragement. Often, you'll find that others have faced similar challenges and can offer valuable insights and support. Epictetus suggested that by envisioning potential difficulties along our path, we prepare ourselves to face them calmly and thoughtfully. This isn't about being pessimistic or expecting the worst. It's about being realistic and ready for anything. When you anticipate obstacles, you're not caught off guard when they appear. Instead, you've already considered possible solutions and ways to manage your reactions. One practical way to anticipate obstacles is through a technique called premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. This involves taking time to visualize potential challenges and consider how you would respond to them. For example, before a big meeting, you might think about what could go wrong. Technical difficulties, tough questions, or even personal nervousness. By envisioning these scenarios, you can plan your responses and reduce the impact of surprise. This practice isn't about dwelling on negativity, but about building mental resilience. When you've mentally rehearsed handling difficulties, you're less likely to be thrown off balance when they occur. You become more adaptable and capable of maintaining your composure, which is a hallmark of Stoic philosophy. Anticipating obstacles also means being flexible and open to change. Life rarely goes exactly as planned, and rigid expectations can lead to disappointment and stress. By anticipating that things may not go as expected, you can remain flexible and adjust your plans as needed. This adaptability is crucial for navigating life's uncertainties with grace and effectiveness. Another important aspect of anticipating obstacles is maintaining a balanced perspective. While it's useful to consider potential difficulties, it's equally important to recognize your strengths and resources. Acknowledge the skills, knowledge, and support systems you have that can help you overcome challenges. This balanced approach ensures that you're prepared without becoming overly anxious or negative. Anticipating obstacles helps build patience and perseverance. When you know that challenges are inevitable, you develop a long-term mindset that values persistence over immediate success. You become more patient with the process and more resilient in the face of setbacks. This endurance is a key component of Stoic philosophy, which emphasizes the importance of steadfastness and inner strength. Engaging in regular reflection can also enhance your ability to anticipate obstacles. Take time to review past experiences and identify patterns. What challenges did you face, and how did you overcome them? What strategies worked, and what could you improve? By learning from your experiences, you can better prepare for future obstacles and refine your approach to problem solving. Incorporating mindfulness practices can further strengthen your ability to anticipate and manage obstacles. Mindfulness helps you stay present and aware, allowing you to recognize potential challenges early and respond thoughtfully. It enhances your emotional regulation, ensuring that you remain calm and centered, even in stressful situations. Epictetus famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This simple yet profound statement underscores the essence of inner strength. Our true power lies not in altering external circumstances, but in mastering our inner responses. When faced with adversity, whether it's severe criticism from a trusted friend or an unexpected setback, we have the freedom to choose our response. This choice defines our character and shapes our life. Inner strength is cultivated through self-awareness and deliberate practice. It starts with recognizing your emotions without letting them overwhelm you. This doesn't mean suppressing your feelings, but rather observing them and understanding their roots. When you become aware of your emotional triggers, you can better manage your reactions. This self-awareness is the first step toward building inner strength. Stoicism also emphasizes the importance of distinguishing between what is within our control and what is not. This distinction is crucial for maintaining inner peace. We cannot control other people's actions or opinions, but we can control our attitudes and responses. By focusing on what we can control, we conserve our energy and reduce unnecessary stress. This mindset shift is empowering and helps us stay grounded in the face of external turbulence. Forgiveness is another powerful aspect of inner strength. Holding on to grudges and resentment drains our energy and clouds our judgment. Just as Stoicism teaches us to control our reactions, it also encourages us to practice forgiveness. This doesn't mean condoning harmful behavior, but rather releasing its hold on us. By forgiving, we free ourselves from the burden of negative emotions and create space for healing and growth. Building inner strength also involves developing resilience. Life is full of ups and downs, and setbacks are inevitable. The key is to view these setbacks as opportunities to strengthen your character. Every challenge you face is a chance to practice resilience and perseverance. Over time, this practice fortifies your inner strength, making you more adaptable and less susceptible to life's fluctuations. Stoicism encourages us to seek strength not just in ourselves, but also in our community and faith. Surround yourself with supportive and like-minded individuals who uplift and inspire you. Engage in conversations that challenge and expand your thinking. If you have a spiritual practice, draw on it for strength and guidance. These external sources of support can reinforce your inner strength and provide a sense of belonging and purpose. Practicing gratitude is another effective way to cultivate inner strength. Gratitude shifts your focus from what you lack to what you have, fostering a positive mindset even in difficult times. There is always something to be grateful for. By regularly acknowledging and appreciating these positives, you strengthen your emotional resilience and maintain a balanced perspective. Inner strength is also about embracing vulnerability. Acknowledging your fears and insecurities doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. By confronting these vulnerabilities with courage and compassion, you transform them into sources of strength. This self-acceptance is a vital component of inner strength, allowing you to navigate life with authenticity and confidence. This doesn't mean suppressing your emotions or pretending they don't exist. It means acknowledging your feelings but not letting them dictate your action. It's about creating a space between stimulus and response, a moment to reflect and choose the most appropriate course of action. This practice of pausing and reflecting is powerful and can transform how you interact with the world. Consider the example of driving in heavy traffic. Someone cuts you off, and your immediate reaction might be anger or even road rage. Instead of acting on this impulse, Stoicism encourages you to pause and consider your response. Will honking or shouting make the situation better? Probably not. By choosing to remain calm, you maintain control over your emotions and actions, leading to a more peaceful and less stressful experience. Another aspect of restraining actions is the ability to delay gratification. In our fast-paced world, we're often tempted to seek immediate rewards and avoid discomfort. However, Stoicism teaches us the value of patience and perseverance. By delaying gratification and working towards long-term goals, we cultivate discipline and resilience. This principle also applies to how we communicate with others. In moments of heated discussion or conflict, it's easy to let emotions take over and say things we might later regret. Stoicism teaches us to practice restraint in our words. Before speaking, consider the impact of your words. Are they constructive? Do they reflect your values? By speaking mindfully and with intention, you can build stronger, more respectful relationships. Practicing self-restraint requires self-awareness and discipline. It's about being conscious of your impulses and actively choosing to control them. This might involve setting personal boundaries, practicing mindfulness, or developing new habits that support your goals. For instance, if you tend to procrastinate, create a structured schedule that helps you stay focused and productive. If you struggle with anger, practice relaxation techniques that help you remain calm in stressful situations. Stoicism also emphasizes the importance of acting according to reason rather than impulse. This means making decisions based on thoughtful consideration of the situation and its consequences. Imagine you're faced with a significant decision at work. Instead of making a hasty choice, take the time to gather information, weigh the pros and cons, and consider how your decision aligns with your values and goals. This reasoned approach leads to better outcomes and a greater sense of control. Restraining actions is not about becoming passive or avoiding action altogether. It's about being deliberate and intentional in our choices. It's about understanding that our actions have consequences and taking responsibility for them. By practicing self-restraint, we become more effective in achieving our goals and maintaining our inner peace. Engaging in regular reflection can also enhance your ability to restrain actions. Take time each day to review your behavior and consider where you could have exercised more restraint. What triggered your impulses? How could you respond differently in the future? This ongoing self-assessment helps you build greater self-awareness and strengthens your commitment to acting with intention. Another practical approach to restraining actions is to develop a daily mindfulness practice. Mindfulness helps you stay present and aware, allowing you to recognize impulsive urges and choose more thoughtful responses. Whether through meditation, deep breathing exercises, or mindful observation, incorporating mindfulness into your routine can significantly enhance your self-control. Acceptance is the first step towards effective action. When we resist reality, we waste energy and create unnecessary suffering. For example, if you lose your job, it's natural to feel upset and worried about the future. But by accepting the situation, you can focus on what you can do next, updating your resume, networking, or exploring new career opportunities. This proactive mindset enables you to navigate the challenge more effectively and reduces the emotional toll of the experience. One practical way to cultivate acceptance is through mindfulness and meditation. These practices help you stay present and aware, allowing you to observe your thoughts and emotions without judgment. By regularly practicing mindfulness, you develop the ability to accept each moment as it comes, with all its imperfections and uncertainties. This acceptance creates a foundation of inner peace and resilience. Stoicism teaches us that acceptance is not about giving up, but about finding strength in adversity. It's about understanding that every event, no matter how challenging, offers an opportunity for growth and learning. When faced with difficulties, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this experience make me stronger? This shift in perspective transforms obstacles into stepping stones for personal development. Acceptance also involves letting go of perfectionism. Many of us strive for perfection in our careers, relationships, and personal achievement. However, this relentless pursuit can lead to stress and dissatisfaction. By accepting that perfection is unattainable, we can appreciate our efforts and progress. This doesn't mean lowering our standards, but recognizing that imperfections are part of the human experience. Embracing our flaws and setbacks with compassion allows us to live more fully and authentically. Gratitude is another powerful tool for cultivating acceptance. When we focus on what we have rather than what we lack, we shift our mindset from scarcity to abundance. Gratitude helps us see the good in our lives, even amidst challenges. By regularly practicing gratitude, we reinforce a positive outlook and strengthen our ability to accept and appreciate life as it is. Acceptance also extends to our relationships. We often have expectations of how others should behave, leading to frustration and disappointment when they don't meet these expectations. By accepting people as they are, with all their strengths and weaknesses, we can build more harmonious and fulfilling relationships. This doesn't mean tolerating harmful behavior, but understanding that everyone has their own journey and challenges. By practicing empathy and compassion, we create a space for authentic connections and mutual growth. Epictetus and other Stoic philosophers emphasized that living according to nature means recognizing our place in the world and acting in accordance with our rational and social nature. At its core, this principle is about living authentically and in harmony with the universe. Living according to nature starts with self-awareness. It requires a deep understanding of who we are and what our true nature is. This involves introspection and reflection on our values, strengths, and purpose. By understanding our natural tendencies and inclinations, we can make choices that align with our true selves rather than conforming to societal expectations or external pressures. This principle also means recognizing and accepting the natural cycles of life. Just as the seasons change, our lives go through different phases: growth, stability, decline, and renewal. By accepting these cycles, we can navigate life's transitions with greater ease and grace. Living according to nature involves cultivating virtues such as wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These virtues are the guiding principles that help us navigate life's challenges and make ethical decisions. Wisdom allows us to see things clearly and make informed choices. Courage gives us the strength to face adversity and take action. Justice ensures that we act fairly and honorably in our relationships. Temperance helps us maintain balance and self-control. By cultivating these virtues, we align our actions with our natural, rational nature. Stoicism also teaches us to live in harmony with others. As social beings, we are naturally connected to those around us. Living according to nature means recognizing our interdependence and contributing to the well-being of our community. This involves practicing empathy, compassion, and cooperation. When we help others and build positive relationships, we fulfill our social nature and create a more harmonious and supportive environment. Another aspect of living according to nature is embracing simplicity and focusing on what truly matters. In a world filled with distractions and materialistic pursuits, it's easy to lose sight of our true priorities. Stoicism encourages us to strip away the excess and focus on our core values and essential needs. This might involve simplifying our lifestyle, prioritizing meaningful relationships, and dedicating time to personal growth and self-care. By doing so, we create space for what truly brings us joy and fulfillment. Stoicism also emphasizes the importance of acceptance and gratitude in living according to nature. Accepting the natural flow of life means letting go of the need to control every outcome and trusting in the process. It's about being grateful for what we have and appreciating the present moment. Gratitude helps us recognize the abundance in our lives and fosters a positive mindset. By focusing on the good, we cultivate a sense of contentment and peace. Living according to nature requires us to be mindful of our impact on the environment. As part of the natural world, we have a responsibility to care for the planet and preserve its resources. This involves making sustainable choices, reducing waste, and respecting the delicate balance of ecosystems. By living in an environmentally conscious way, we honor our connection to nature and contribute to the well-being of future generations. Incorporating mindfulness into our daily lives can enhance our ability to live according to nature. Mindfulness helps us stay present and aware, allowing us to make intentional choices that align with our true selves. Whether through meditation, deep breathing, or mindful observation, these practices help us connect with our inner nature and the world around us. They encourage us to slow down, reflect, and act with purpose. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. In a world that constantly tries to dictate how we should feel, think, and act, imagine possessing the power to find inner peace and happiness, regardless of the circumstances swirling around you. That's not just powerful, it's revolutionary. It's about taking control, not of the world, but of something far more important and absolutely within our reach, our own minds. Stoicism teaches us resilience, gratitude, and the art of living a fulfilled life. But this isn't just a history lesson. It's about you, your life today. It's about facing the chaos of our modern world without losing your cool. It's about finding calm in the storm and happiness in the simplest of things. It's about transforming your mornings from something you dread into a powerful launchpad for a day filled with purpose and joy. So, if you've ever felt overwhelmed by the noise of life, if you've ever struggled to find a moment's peace, or if you're just curious about how ancient wisdom can be your secret weapon in the 21st century, stick around. This might just be the video that changes everything for you. Let's dive into the Stoic strategies that can help us craft not just a morning routine, but a life filled with intention, resilience, and true happiness. I implore you to give your full attention to this video from start to finish. If you've made it here, you're not like everyone else. You're a standout, someone who seeks depth and wisdom. Your dedication to absorbing this content in full sets you apart even further. This might sound like a fancy term, but it's actually a beautifully simple concept that comes from Japan. It's about discovering that sweet spot where your passions, skills, societal needs, and what you can be paid for all intersect. It's your unique reason for being. Imagine waking up each morning fueled by a clear purpose that excites you, something that makes the thought of hitting snooze irrelevant. Marcus Aurelius wasn't just about enduring life's hardships with a stiff upper lip. He was deeply invested in the idea that we're all here to play our part, to contribute something meaningful. He urged us to approach each day as an opportunity to fulfill our role with integrity and passion. Now, think about that in the context of Ikigai. It's not just about finding what you love. It's about aligning it with what the world needs and what you're good at. That's where the magic happens. But how do you start uncovering your Ikigai? It begins with some introspection. Ask yourself, what am I passionate about? What am I good at? What does the world need from me? What can I get paid for? It's okay if the answers don't come to you right away. This is about the journey, exploring different facets of your life and interests and seeing where they converge. This quest for your Ikigai isn't just some fluffy, feel-good exercise. It's about setting the foundation for a life that's rich in meaning and satisfaction. When you align your daily actions with your deeper purpose, even mundane tasks gain significance. Your relationships start to flourish because you're more present and engaged. Your creativity soars because you're aligned with your true passions. And overall happiness? Well, it becomes more of a constant companion than a fleeting visitor. So, as you think about setting your alarm for tomorrow morning, consider what Ikigai means for you. What could be so compelling that you'd leap out of bed, eager to start the day? Remember, this isn't about overnight transformation. It's a process, a gentle unfolding. And as Marcus Aurelius would remind us, it's about doing the work, day by day, with dedication and honor. Finding your Ikigai isn't just about personal fulfillment. It's about embracing your role in the larger tapestry of life, contributing your unique thread to the ever-evolving human story. The ancient Stoics, particularly Marcus Aurelius, were big on the idea that our actions should be purposeful, not just random acts thrown into the wind, but deliberate steps guided by our inner compass. This philosophy extends beautifully into how we prepare for the day ahead, starting the night before. Here's the deal. The quality of your morning begins with how you spend your evening. It's tempting to binge watch your favorite series until the wee hours or scroll through social media until your eyes blur. But let's pause and consider how that sets you up for the next day. Your brain needs time to unwind, to process the day's events, and to recharge for what's ahead. That's where a solid pre-sleep routine comes into play. Imagine treating your evening routine with the same respect and intention as you would any other important aspect of your life. This isn't about rigid self-discipline that sucks the joy out of your evenings. It's about creating a space that supports your well-being and aligns with your goals for the next day. For instance, limiting screen time an hour before bed isn't about denying yourself relaxation. It's about giving your mind the cue that it's time to wind down, making it easier to fall asleep and wake up feeling refreshed. Planning a bit for the next day can also be a game changer. It could be as simple as jotting down your top 3 priorities for tomorrow. This act alone sets a clear direction, ensuring you wake up with a sense of purpose. And here's where the Stoic mindset really shines. It's about acknowledging what's within our control and letting go of what's not. We might not be able to control every detail of our day, but we can certainly influence how we start it. And let's not forget about some deep breathing or meditation to calm the mind. This practice isn't just fluff. It's a powerful tool that signals to your body that it's time to rest. Inhaling deeply and exhaling slowly helps reduce stress, lower your heart rate, and prepare your body for deep, restorative sleep. It's like pressing the reset button, ensuring you wake up not just physically refreshed, but mentally and emotionally as well. In today's always-on world, this might sound like a Herculean task, but it's absolutely vital for setting the tone of your entire day. Picture this. The first moments of your morning, untainted by the digital clamor of emails, social media notifications, or the buzzing news cycle. It's just you, your thoughts, and the serene quiet of the dawn. That's not just refreshing, it's empowering. Marcus Aurelius was a strong advocate for living with intention and focus. He wasn't distracted by the notifications of ancient Rome, and believe me, he had his share of distractions. Instead, he emphasized the importance of concentrating on the present moment and the task at hand. He knew something that's even more relevant today. The quality of your attention determines the quality of your life. So, how do we apply this ancient wisdom in the modern age? First, it's about creating a morning space that's intentionally free from digital distractions. This isn't about shunning technology, but rather choosing not to let it dictate the start of your day. It's tempting to roll over and immediately check your phone, but that instantly puts you in a reactive state, responding to the demands and dramas of the external world. Instead, give yourself the gift of a peaceful start. Imagine dedicating the first hour of your day to activities that nourish your soul and sharpen your mind. Maybe it's reading, meditating, journaling, or simply enjoying a cup of coffee as you gaze out the window. This isn't wasted time. It's an investment in your well-being. By avoiding distractions, you're not just avoiding stress, You're actively creating a reservoir of peace and focus that you'll draw from throughout the day. Making the most of your mornings isn't about adding more to your to-do list. It's about subtracting the noise that doesn't serve you. It's about prioritizing what truly matters before the day's demands start pulling at your attention. This is where the Stoic practice of focusing on what's within your control comes into play. You might not be able to control the flood of emails waiting for you, but you can control how and when you choose to engage with them. So tomorrow, challenge yourself to start the day on your terms. Resist the urge to dive into the digital world first thing. Instead, anchor yourself in the present moment, savoring the peace and potential that the morning holds. Remember, every day is a new opportunity to live more intentionally, more serenely, and more in line with who you aspire to be. Let's make our mornings a testament to that ambition, guided by the timeless wisdom of Stoicism and an unwavering focus on what truly matters. Stoicism, at its core, is about understanding what is within our control and acting with virtue and intention in those areas. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, these guys weren't just talking about enduring life's hardships with a stiff upper lip. They were advocating for a proactive engagement with life, taking charge of our actions and our mindset. Waking up consistently is a practice that embodies this philosophy. It's a declaration that we are in control of how we start our day, that we are not at the mercy of whims or external pressures. Building a life, as Stoicism suggests, step by step, with contentment in each action, is a powerful concept. It reminds us that big changes start with small, consistent actions. Waking up at the same time each morning might seem like a small thing, but it's a cornerstone habit that sets the stage for everything else. It's about creating a stable foundation for your day, where you're not rushing from the moment you open your eyes, but rather starting with a sense of control and purpose. But here's the thing. Consistency is challenging. It's supposed to be. The early days of trying to wake up at the same time each morning can feel like an uphill battle. Your bed feels more comfortable than ever, and the temptation to hit snooze just one more time can feel irresistible. This is where the Stoic practice of perseverance comes in. It's about reminding yourself why you're doing this, about the person you're becoming through this discipline. It's about seeing beyond the immediate comfort and focusing on the long-term benefits this habit will bring into your life. Becoming a morning person, then, is not just about the mornings themselves. It's about embodying the qualities that make you resilient, focused, and intentional throughout your day. It's a practice in self-mastery, in aligning your actions with your values, and in cultivating the kind of life you want to live, one morning at a time. So how do we make consistency our ally? Start by setting a clear intention the night before. Remind yourself why waking up at a specific time is important to you. Is it to have more quiet time in the morning for reading or meditation? Is it to exercise, or simply to start your day in a more relaxed and controlled manner? Then create an environment that supports this habit. Maybe it's going to bed a bit earlier to ensure you get enough sleep, or keeping your curtains slightly open to let the natural light wake you up gently. And when it gets tough, remember the Stoic belief in the power of our own will, and the importance of acting according to our principles. Each morning that you wake up at your chosen time, you're not just starting your day. You're reinforcing a commitment to yourself, to your growth, and to living a life of intention and purpose. Amidst all this talk of discipline, consistency, and waking up with the sun, it's paramount to remember one thing. We're human. And being human means we're beautifully complex creatures with brains that often prefer the path of least resistance, the instant gratification route. This is precisely why embarking on new habits like transforming our mornings can initially feel like an uphill battle. Yet, there's something incredibly freeing in acknowledging this fact. It's not a flaw, it's just part of the human experience. Now, let's channel some Stoicism into this concept. Stoicism teaches us the importance of self-compassion and understanding alongside its calls for discipline and resilience. Marcus Aurelius, in his personal writings, often reminded himself to be patient and forgiving with his own shortcomings. He knew that berating oneself for every slip-up was not the path to growth. Instead, he advocated for recognizing our errors, learning from them, and then letting them go. This approach is crucial when we're trying to cultivate new morning routines, or any habit, for that matter. Those first few days, or even weeks, can be tough. Your alarm goes off and every fiber of your being wants to stay cocooned in the warmth of your bed. And let's be honest, there will be days when you'll give in to that desire. That's okay. The key is what you do next. Do you beat yourself up, spiraling into a cycle of guilt and self-criticism? Or do you take a breath, forgive yourself, and see the next morning as a fresh opportunity to try again? Forgiveness and patience with ourselves are not signs of weakness. They're indicators of strength and wisdom. They mean we're in it for the long haul, ready to navigate the ups and downs with grace. This Stoic practice of self-compassion is about understanding our nature, working with it, and gently nudging ourselves toward the habits and life we aspire to. Moreover, taking it easy isn't about making excuses or allowing ourselves to perpetually fall short of our goals. It's about recognizing that growth is a process filled with learning curves and setbacks. It's about understanding that each new day brings with it a new set of challenges and opportunities. And it's in this daily renewal that we find our strength and resilience. So, as you work on embracing those early mornings, or any new habit, remember to take it easy on yourself. Celebrate the small victories, learn from the setbacks, and approach each day with a heart ready to try again. This isn't just about becoming a morning person. It's about cultivating a mindset that's prepared to face life's challenges with a blend of determination and kindness. Consider the simple act of placing your alarm clock across the room. It's not just about making it physically harder to snooze. It's a statement. It's a commitment to start the day on your terms, to rise despite the comfort of the bed's embrace. It's a small act of defense against the inertia of sleep and comfort, a step toward embracing the day with intention. Similarly, making your bed each morning might feel like a trivial task, especially when you're the only one who'll see it. Yet it's so much more than smoothing sheets and fluffing pillows. It's an exercise in care, in telling yourself that your environment and how you engage with it matters. It's about creating a space that reflects the order and respect you're cultivating within yourself. These small victories, as Marcus Aurelius would likely argue, are the building blocks of a disciplined life. They're the everyday choices that, while easy to overlook, cumulatively mold our character. Each time you choose to do these little things, you're casting a vote for the type of person you want to be. You're choosing to be someone who values discipline, order, and respect for oneself and one's environment. But why focus on these small acts? Because they're within everyone's reach. Not all of us can control the major events in our lives, the upheavals, the unexpected turns, but we can control how we respond to the start of each day, how we treat our immediate surroundings, and how we prime ourselves for whatever lies ahead. This is Stoicism in action, focusing on what's in our power to control and letting go of what isn't. Moreover, these practices aren't just about building discipline for discipline's sake. They're about cultivating a mindset that's prepared for life's bigger challenges. If you can commit to these small acts of discipline, you're training yourself to uphold your commitments in more significant areas. You're sharpening your ability to follow through, to remain steady in the face of adversity, and to approach life with a calm, collected demeanor, qualities that define the Stoic ideal. So, as you consider the role of discipline in your life, start small. Look for those everyday opportunities to practice self-control and order. Remember, it's in these moments, in the quiet of the morning, when you decide to rise and face the day with intention, that your character is forged. These practices are not just chores or tasks. They're rituals, imbuing your day with purpose and your life with a sense of direction and meaning. The idea here is simple yet profoundly impactful. Sharing your goals with someone who not only supports you, but also holds you accountable, can significantly amplify your chances of success. It transforms a personal journey into a shared adventure, making the path to fulfilling your morning routine and ultimately your life's purpose less daunting and more enjoyable. Think of your accountability partner as your ally in the pursuit of self-improvement. This person is there to remind you of your commitments when the warmth of your bed feels too comforting to leave in the early hours. They're there to encourage you when progress seems slow and to celebrate your victories no matter how small. This relationship is a two-way street. It's about mutual support and encouragement, grounded in the understanding that we're all striving to be the best versions of ourselves. The Stoics, including Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, often emphasize the importance of community and relationships in the development of character and virtue. They believed in the power of wisdom shared, in learning from one another, and in the strength that comes from knowing you're not alone in your struggles. Finding an accountability partner in today's world is a nod to this timeless wisdom, recognizing that while the journey towards self-discipline and purpose is personal, it need not be solitary. Moreover, an accountability partner can help you see blind spots in your routine or approach that you might miss on your own. They can offer new perspectives and insights that can catalyze your growth in unexpected ways. This partnership is about more than just checking in to see if you woke up on time or followed through on your morning meditation. It's about engaging in meaningful dialogue about what's working, what isn't, and how you can both support each other in making adjustments. So, how do you find this accountability partner? Look for someone who shares your commitment to growth and self-improvement. This could be a friend, a family member, or even a colleague. The key is to choose someone you trust. Someone with whom you can be open and honest about your goals, struggles, and successes. Once you've found that person, be clear about what you're hoping to achieve and what kind of support you need. Set regular check-ins and be there for each other, offering encouragement, advice, and, when necessary, a gentle nudge back on track. Remember, finding an accountability partner is about more than just external motivation. It's about building a relationship that inspires and uplifts both of you. It's about creating a shared space where honesty, vulnerability, and mutual support are valued and nurtured. In this space, your morning routines and broader life goals become intertwined in a collective effort toward living a more intentional, disciplined, and fulfilling life. The Stoic practice of reflecting on mortality is a call to action, a prompt to live our lives with purpose and intention. It encourages us not to squander our time on trivialities, but to concentrate on creating a meaningful legacy. Every morning when we wake up, we're presented with a fresh opportunity to engage with life in a meaningful way, to contribute positively to the world around us, and to pursue personal growth and fulfillment. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, often wrote about the fleeting nature of life, emphasizing the importance of living virtuously and making the most of the time we have. This wasn't meant to be somber. Rather, it was a liberating realization that freed him from petty concerns and allowed him to focus on his duties as emperor and as a human being striving for virtue. The idea is that by keeping the end in mind, we're more likely to live our lives with purpose and clarity, prioritizing the things and relationships that truly matter. Remembering death in the context of our morning routines transforms how we approach each day. It's not just another day, it's a day that we've been gifted, one that's not guaranteed to anyone. This realization can profoundly impact how we choose to spend our time, the activities we engage in, the relationships we nurture, and the legacy we strive to build. It's a reminder to live fully, to love deeply, and to leave the world a little better than we found it. Moreover, this Stoic practice helps us maintain perspective in the face of life's inevitable challenges and setbacks. When we remember that our time is limited, the daily annoyances and obstacles lose much of their power over us. We become more resilient, more focused on our long-term goals, and less likely to be derailed by temporary difficulties. It's a practice that fosters gratitude for the present moment and inspires us to make the most of it. So, how can we incorporate this Stoic principle into our daily lives? It begins with a moment of reflection each morning. Consider the day ahead as a blank canvas, an opportunity to contribute positively to your life story and to those around you. Ask yourself, if this were my last day, would I be proud of how I'm choosing to spend it? This doesn't mean living in a constant state of existential crisis, but rather cultivating a deep appreciation for the now, for the opportunity to live, learn, and love. In embracing the Stoic practice of remembering death, we're not focusing on the end, but on the present and how we choose to live each day. It's a powerful antidote to complacency and a reminder to live our lives with intention, purpose, and gratitude. So let's greet each morning with the awareness that it is a gift, an opportunity to craft a life that's rich in meaning and aligned with our deepest values. This is the essence of living stoically, making the most of our finite time in this world to create a legacy that endures. We're often told to focus on the positive, to visualize success and happiness in order to attract them into our lives. However, the Stoics, in their profound wisdom, offer a different perspective, one that's not only practical, but incredibly empowering. Negative visualization isn't about pessimism. Rather, it's a tool for resilience, preparation, and ultimately, greater appreciation of the present. The essence of this practice is to periodically imagine the challenges, losses, or difficulties you might face in life. This could range from minor inconveniences, like a missed bus or a rainy day, to more significant hardships, such as the loss of a job or a loved one. The purpose isn't to dwell on these scenarios in a way that breeds fear or anxiety, but to mentally rehearse how you would cope with such situations should they arise. This process of visualization prepares you emotionally and mentally, making you less susceptible to being thrown off course by life's inevitable ups and downs. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus all believed that by contemplating the temporary nature of everything outside our control, we could cultivate a deeper sense of peace and resilience. This practice encourages us to focus on what we can control, our responses, our attitudes, and our actions. Incorporating negative visualization into your morning routine can transform how you approach your day. Instead of stepping out the door, blind to the potential challenges ahead, you're mentally equipped to face them. It's like a mental training session where you strengthen your resilience muscles, so when life inevitably throws a curveball your way, you're not knocked off your feet. You've already rehearsed this moment in your mind and can draw upon your pre-visualized strategies to navigate through it. Moreover, this practice has a beautiful, somewhat paradoxical effect. It enhances our gratitude for the present moment. By imagining life without some of the things we take for granted, we come back to reality with a renewed appreciation for them. It's a reminder of how much we have to be thankful for right now, in this moment. This isn't about dwelling in fear of loss, but about using the thought of it to deepen our appreciation for the here and now. So how do we practice negative visualization in a healthy, constructive way? Start with a few moments in the morning to contemplate potential challenges of the day or broader future possibilities. Visualize how you would ideally respond, what strengths you would draw upon, what lessons you could learn, and how you could grow from the experience. Then, let go of the visualization and proceed with your day, carrying with you a sense of preparedness and an enhanced appreciation for your current circumstances. Incorporating gratitude into our lives, especially as we end our day, can have a transformative impact on our well-being and outlook. Keeping a gratitude journal is a beautifully simple yet profoundly effective way to cultivate this sense of appreciation. It's about taking a few moments before we sleep to reflect on the day and jot down a few things we're grateful for. This could be anything, from a kind gesture from a stranger, a beautiful sunset, the completion of a challenging task, or simply the comfort of our bed waiting to embrace us at the end of a long day. The act of writing down what we're grateful for shifts our focus from what's lacking in our lives to the abundance that's already present. It's a practice that aligns perfectly with Stoic teachings, which emphasize focusing on what we have rather than what we don't, on what's within our control rather than what isn't. This shift in perspective not only sets the stage for a peaceful night's sleep free from the turmoil of unfulfilled desires or lingering frustrations, but it also primes our minds to begin the next day with a sense of purpose and appreciation. But why end the day with gratitude? because it allows us to close our day on a note of positivity, regardless of the challenges we may have faced. It's a way of reaffirming the good in our lives, of finding peace even in turmoil, and of nurturing a mindset that sees opportunities for growth and joy in every circumstance. This nightly practice of gratitude creates a ripple effect, influencing not just how we sleep, but how we wake up and approach our mornings. It transforms our first thoughts of the day from groans over the alarm clock to a quiet anticipation of what the new day holds, what new things we might discover to be grateful for. Moreover, this practice of appreciating our life extends beyond our personal sphere. It enhances our relationships as we become more attuned to the value of those around us and more expressive of our appreciation for their presence in our lives. It deepens our connection to the world as we become more observant of and thankful for the beauty and wonder that surround us, often in the most mundane moments. So, as we consider the multitude of strategies to enrich our mornings and, by extension, our lives, let's not overlook the power of ending our day with gratitude. It's a practice that embodies the Stoic pursuit of a good life, one marked not by external achievements or material possessions, but by inner peace, contentment, and a deep-seated appreciation for the present moment. As we wrap up this journey through the 10 strategies inspired by Stoicism, it's clear that each step, each practice is more than just a task. It's a pathway to cultivating a life of intention, resilience, and profound gratitude. Embracing these practices doesn't mean every day will be perfect, but it does mean that every day will be met with a stronger, more grateful, and more resilient you. You have within you the power to transform not just your mornings, but your entire life into a reflection of the Stoic ideals of virtue, wisdom, and contentment. We all experience those moments when negative thoughts start creeping in, planting seeds of doubt and insecurity in our minds. The nagging voice that questions our abilities, worth, and decisions can be incredibly disruptive, impacting all aspects of our lives. If left unchecked, these mental patterns can spiral into anxiety, lack of motivation, and even depression. I know this struggle all too well. There were times when I felt consumed by negative self-talk and crippling self-doubt. It was a constant battle to silence the inner critic and regain my confidence. But then, I discovered the profound teachings of Stoicism. This ancient Greek philosophy provided me with powerful strategies to overcome these challenges. As Marcus Aurelius, the famous Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, wisely stated, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it." This realization was transformative for me. I began to understand that my negative thoughts were not facts, but mere interpretations, and that I had the power to change them. So, what is the purpose of our journey today? It is to share the timeless Stoic principles that will help you deal effectively with negative thoughts and self-doubt. By the end of this exploration, you will be equipped with practical tools and insights to confront these inner battles head-on, reclaiming your inner peace and confidence. But this is not a passive experience. Stay engaged, reflect on these lessons, and actively apply them daily. True transformation occurs through knowledge, consistent action, and practice. With that, let us begin our exploration of the Stoic way of overcoming negative thoughts and self-doubt, guided by the wise words of Marcus Aurelius. The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. Understanding negative thoughts and self-doubt, we must first understand their nature and impact to effectively deal with negative thoughts and self-doubt. As Epictetus, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, wisely stated, "It is not the things themselves that disturb people, but their judgments about these things." Negative thoughts are not inherently bad or wrong. Our minds create interpretations based on our experiences, beliefs, and conditioning. However, when left unchecked, these thoughts can spiral, distorting our perception of reality and undermining our sense of self-worth. For instance, consider a situation where you made a mistake at work. A negative thought might arise, such as, "I'm so incompetent, I'll never succeed in this job." This thought, however, is not a fact, but a judgment colored by self-doubt and harsh self-criticism. The impact of such negative self-talk can be far-reaching. It can affect our motivation, decision-making, and overall well-being. As Marcus Aurelius said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Persistent negative thoughts can drain our energy, cloud our judgment, and even influence our physical health. Now, let's engage in a brief exercise. Take a moment to reflect on a recent negative thought or moment of self-doubt that you experienced. Please write it down or make a mental note of it. We will revisit this later in our exploration. Understanding the nature and potential consequences of negative thoughts enables us to approach them more objectively. We can recognize them as mere interpretations, not absolute truths, and work towards reframing them more constructively. Remember, as Epictetus taught, it is not the things themselves that disturb people, but their judgments about these things. With this awareness, we can break free from negative thoughts and self-doubt, paving the way for a more empowered and fulfilling life. Changing your perspective. One of the core principles of Stoicism is the idea that our thoughts shape our reality. Epictetus wisely stated, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the view which they take of them." This profound insight holds the key to overcoming negative thoughts and self-doubt. By changing our perspective, we can transform our experience. Let's revisit the example from the previous chapter, where you made a mistake at work and a negative thought arose, labeling you as incompetent and doubting your ability to succeed. This thought is not a fact, but a subjective interpretation colored by self-doubt and harsh self-criticism. The Stoics would encourage us to reframe this thought by adopting a more objective and rational perspective. Instead of criticizing ourselves, we could view the mistake as a learning opportunity to identify areas for improvement and growth. We could remind ourselves that mistakes are an inevitable part of the human experience, and that even the most accomplished individuals have faced setbacks and failures throughout their journeys. By reframing our perspective, we can transform a negative thought into a constructive one, shifting our mindset from self-doubt to self-compassion and resilience. But the Stoics didn't just preach theoretical ideas. They offered practical wisdom rooted in real-life examples. One such example comes from the life of Seneca, the famous Stoic philosopher and advisor to the Roman Emperor Nero. In one of his letters, Seneca recounts a story of a friend deeply troubled by a nightmarish vision he had experienced. Seneca advised his friend to focus on reality rather than being consumed by his imagination, saying, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality." Like Seneca's friend, we often allow our negative thoughts and fears to spiral out of control, creating imagined scenarios that cause unnecessary suffering. By grounding ourselves in reality and adopting a more objective perspective, we can break free from the grip of these distorted thoughts. Here's a practical step-by-step guide to help you reframe a negative thought. Identify the negative thought or self-doubt. Write it down or make a mental note. Examine the evidence. Is this thought based on facts or assumptions? Are there alternative perspectives you still need to consider? Challenge the thought. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me or hurting me? Or, would I say this to a loved one in a similar situation? Reframe the thought. Replace the negative thought with a more constructive, rational interpretation that aligns with your values and goals. Repeat the reframed thought. Reinforce the new perspective by repeating it to yourself or writing it down. As Marcus Aurelius reminded us, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. By actively practicing reframing our perspective, we can gradually rewire our thought patterns, cultivating a more resilient and empowered mindset. It takes consistent effort, but the rewards are immense. A greater sense of inner peace, self-confidence, and ability to navigate life's challenges with wisdom and grace. Focus on what you can control. One of the core tenets of Stoic philosophy is the principle of focusing our energy and attention on what we can control, rather than wasting time and energy agonizing over things beyond our influence. Epictetus famously stated, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This principle is compelling when dealing with negative thoughts and self-doubt. While we cannot always control the initial thoughts that arise, we can control how we respond to them. Do we allow them to spiral, fueling our self-doubt and anxiety, or do we consciously shift our focus to what is within our control? Let's consider a practical example. Imagine you've been passed over for a promotion at work, and feelings of self-doubt and negative thoughts begin to surface. I'm not good enough. I'll never advance in this company. I'm a failure. While it's understandable to feel disappointed, dwelling on these negative thoughts and ruminating over the situation will only breed more negativity and disempowerment. Instead, the Stoic approach would focus on what you can control: your reaction, your mindset, and your next steps. You might reframe the situation by acknowledging that while the outcome was not what you hoped for, it does not define your worth or capability. You can respond with resilience, using the experience as motivation to identify areas for growth and development. Additionally, you can focus on what is within your control, such as updating your skills, seeking feedback from mentors, or exploring new opportunities within or outside the company. This principle is exemplified in Epictetus' life. Born into slavery, he faced numerous challenges and adversities beyond his control. However, he focused his energy on what was within his power: his mindset, actions, and response to circumstances. In one of his famous teachings, Epictetus emphasized, "Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens." By embracing this wisdom, we can avoid becoming consumed by negative thoughts and self-doubt from situations we cannot control. Instead, we can focus on our sphere of influence, taking constructive action and maintaining a positive, empowered mindset. To put this principle into practice, I invite you to pause and reflect on a current worry or concern causing you distress. Identify the aspects of the situation within your control and separate them from the factors beyond your influence. By consciously shifting your focus to what you can control, you'll find it easier to let go of negative thoughts and self-doubt surrounding the uncontrollable elements. This simple yet profound practice can cultivate inner peace, resilience, and empowerment in facing life's challenges. As Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. By embracing this Stoic wisdom, you can reclaim your power and navigate life's ups and downs with grace and composure. Building resilience through Stoic practices. Thus far, we've discussed powerful Stoic principles for reframing negative thoughts, focusing on what's within our control, and cultivating an empowered mindset. However, the Stoics understood that lasting inner transformation requires more than intellectual understanding. It demands consistent practice and the cultivation of specific mental habits. One such practice is the Stoic concept of negative visualization, which may seem counterintuitive at first glance. As Epictetus wisely stated, "No great thing is created suddenly, any more than a bunch of grapes or a fig. If you tell me that you desire a fig, I answer you that there must be time." Negative visualization involves contemplating potential adverse scenarios or misfortunes that could befall us. It may sound like a recipe for pessimism, but the Stoics saw it as a tool to cultivate gratitude, resilience, and a deeper appreciation for the present moment. By mentally preparing for challenges and setbacks, we become less shocked and overwhelmed when they inevitably occur. Additionally, it helps us cherish the good things rather than take them for granted. Let's engage in a brief exercise to experience the power of this practice. Close your eyes and imagine losing something truly valuable to you, a possession, a relationship, or even your health. Allow yourself to feel the weight of that potential loss. Fully notice how this exercise can heighten your gratitude for what you currently have and instill a sense of humble appreciation for the temporary nature of all things. The Stoics understood that by regularly practicing negative visualization, we could develop a kind of emotional immunity, a resilience that allows us to weather life's storms with poise and grace. Marcus Aurelius, the mighty Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, embodied this principle. Despite facing numerous personal losses and challenges, including the untimely deaths of several children and a devastating plague that ravaged his empire, Marcus Aurelius maintained his composure. He continued to govern with wisdom and compassion. He wrote in his famous Meditations, "How ridiculous and unrealistic is the man who is astonished at anything that happens in life." By embracing the Stoic practice of negative visualization, Marcus Aurelius cultivated a profound sense of resilience and acceptance, allowing him to navigate even the most harrowing circumstances with grace and poise. As we continue our journey toward overcoming negative thoughts and self-doubt, practices like negative visualization can serve as powerful tools to fortify our mental and emotional resilience. By regularly reminding ourselves of the impermanence of all things and mentally preparing for potential adversity, we can cultivate a sense of humble gratitude and develop the inner strength to face life's challenges with courage and wisdom. Remember, as Epictetus taught, no great thing is created suddenly. Building resilience is a gradual process that requires consistent practice and dedication, but by embracing Stoic practices, we can steadily cultivate the inner resources to overcome negative thoughts, self-doubt, and any obstacles that may arise. Surrounding yourself with positivity, while the Stoic teachings emphasize cultivating inner resilience and self-mastery, the ancient philosophers recognized the profound impact our social environment has on our mental and emotional well-being. As Epictetus wisely advised, the key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. The people we surround ourselves with can either fuel our negative thought patterns and self-doubt, or inspire us to rise above them. Their words, attitudes, and energy can drag us down or elevate us to new heights of confidence and self-assurance. Think about the individuals in your life who consistently radiate positivity, encouragement, and belief in your potential. Perhaps it's a close friend, a mentor, or a family member who has consistently supported and uplifted you, even during your darkest moments of self-doubt. Now, contrast that with the people in your life who seem to perpetuate your negative thought patterns. They might be quick to criticize, doubt your abilities, or project their insecurities onto you. The Stoics understood that limiting exposure to negative influences and intentionally cultivating uplifting relationships could profoundly impact our mental and emotional state. Consider the example of Monkey D. Luffy from the anime One Piece. Luffy's journey to becoming the Pirate King is significantly influenced by the positive and supportive friends he surrounds himself with. Early in his quest, Luffy gathers a diverse crew of individuals who believe in his dream and support him through every challenge and setback. Characters like Zoro, Nami, Sanji, and Chopper contribute their strengths and unwavering belief in Luffy, encouraging him to persevere despite overwhelming odds. Their support and friendship help Luffy stay resilient and inspire each other to grow and reach their potential. By intentionally curating his crew, Luffy creates an environment that nurtures confidence, resilience, and determination, ultimately propelling him toward his dream of finding the One Piece and becoming the Pirate King. On the other hand, imagine the path of someone who remains entrenched in a toxic social environment. Constantly surrounded by negativity, criticism, and doubt, it becomes increasingly challenging for them to break free from negative thoughts and self-doubt when those patterns are continuously reinforced by their social influences. So, how can we apply this Stoic wisdom to our own lives? Here are some practical tips. Evaluate your current social circle. Identify the individuals who uplift and encourage you, as well as those who perpetuate negative thought patterns. Gradually limit exposure to toxic influences while nurturing and prioritizing relationships with positive, supportive people. Seek out communities, groups, or mentors aligned with your values and goals, as they can provide a powerful source of inspiration and motivation. Be mindful of the energy you bring to your relationships. Strive to positively influence others, just as you seek positivity from them. Remember, as Epictetus taught, the key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. By intentionally surrounding ourselves with positive influences, we create an environment conducive to overcoming negative thoughts and self-doubt and embracing our full potential. It's a journey that requires conscious effort and discernment, but the rewards are invaluable. A greater sense of confidence, resilience, and the ability to navigate life's challenges with the support and encouragement of those who believe in us. Gratitude and contentment. At the core of Stoic philosophy lies a profound understanding of the power of gratitude and contentment. These principles serve as potent antidotes to the negative thought patterns and self-doubt that can quickly consume us in our modern, fast-paced lives. As Marcus Aurelius eloquently stated, "Do not indulge in dreams of having what you have not, but reckon up the chief of the blessings you do possess, and then thankfully remember how you would crave for them if they were not yours. These words encapsulate the essence of gratitude, the practice of actively appreciating and savoring the blessings we already possess, rather than constantly yearning for more. By cultivating gratitude, we shift our focus away from perceived deficiencies and scarcity and instead embrace the abundance surrounding us. Imagine the weight lifted from your shoulders if you genuinely appreciate and feel grateful for all the positive aspects of your life, rather than fixating on what you lack or wish you had. The Stoics understood that this shift in perspective could profoundly impact our mental and emotional well-being. Seneca, another prominent Stoic philosopher, echoed this sentiment when he wrote, "It is in no man's power to have whatever he wants, but he has it in his power not to wish for what he hasn't got, and cheerfully make the most of the things that do come his way." These words remind us that true contentment does not come from constantly acquiring more, but from cultivating a sense of sufficiency and appreciating what we already have. By embracing this mindset, we can break free from the endless desire and dissatisfaction that fuels so much of our negative self-talk and self-doubt. To put this into practice, let's engage in a brief gratitude exercise. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Now, consider 3 aspects of your life that you are truly grateful for. Perhaps your health, a loving relationship, or a cherished memory. Allow yourself to fully savor and appreciate these blessings, feeling the warmth of gratitude spread through your being. As you open your eyes, notice the subtle shift in your perspective. Do you feel lighter, more present, and less burdened by negative thoughts or self-doubt? This is the transformative power of gratitude and contentment. Acceptance and letting go, Epictetus wisely advised. Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do happen, and you will go on well. These words highlight a profound truth. Much of our suffering and negative thought patterns stem from our resistance to how things are and our attachment to how we believe they should be. By accepting reality as it unfolds, without judgment or resistance, we can cultivate a sense of inner peace and freedom from negative thoughts and self-doubt. Consider the example of a student who has worked tirelessly to prepare for a critical exam, only to receive a disappointing result. Suppose they cling to the expectation of a different outcome. In that case, they will likely spiral into a cycle of negative self-talk, doubt, and rumination. However, if they embrace the Stoic principle of acceptance, they can acknowledge the reality of the situation without judgment or self-criticism. They can redirect their energy toward constructive next steps rather than dwelling on what cannot be changed. This principle was embodied by Marcus Aurelius, who faced numerous challenges and adversities during his reign as Roman emperor. In his famous Meditations, he wrote, "How ridiculous and strange to be surprised at anything which happens in life." These words reflect a deep understanding of the impermanence and unpredictability of life, a recognition that resistance and clinging to expectations only breeds suffering. By accepting the ebb and flow of circumstances with equanimity, Marcus Aurelius navigated even the most tumultuous times with grace and wisdom. The Stoics understood that true freedom lies in letting go of our resistance and accepting what is, rather than constantly battling against reality. As Marcus Aurelius wisely stated, "Nothing happens to anybody which he is not fitted by nature to bear." Consider a situation you have resisted or struggled to accept. To put this principle into practice, take a few deep breaths and consciously let go of your resistance, embracing the reality of the situation without judgment or self-criticism. Notice how this simple acceptance can alleviate the burden of negative thoughts and self-doubt. By releasing the need to control or change the uncontrollable, you create space for inner peace, clarity, and the ability to respond with wisdom and equanimity. By embracing the Stoic practices of acceptance and letting go, we can cultivate the inner freedom to navigate life's challenges with resilience, grace, and a profound sense of inner peace. Self-reflection and growth. While the Stoic teachings provide potent tools for dealing with negative thoughts and self-doubt in the present moment, These ancient philosophers understood that lasting transformation requires a more profound commitment to self-reflection and personal growth. As Epictetus wisely advised, when you are offended at any man's fault, turn to yourself and study your failings. He will grow better for being reproved, and you better yourself by this wholesome exercise. These words highlight the profound value of self-reflection, the practice of turning our gaze inward, examining our thoughts, beliefs, and actions with honesty and courage. Through this process, we can identify areas for growth, confront our blind spots, and cultivate the self-awareness necessary for lasting personal development. Imagine for a moment a scenario where you made a mistake or experienced a setback that triggered a wave of negative self-talk and self-doubt. Instead of wallowing in these thoughts or projecting blame onto external factors, the Stoic approach would be to engage in radical self-reflection. Ask yourself probing questions. What role did my own actions or assumptions play in this outcome? What lessons can I learn from this experience? How can I approach similar situations with greater wisdom and resilience in the future? By adopting this mindset of self-reflection and growth, we shift our perspective from self-criticism and stagnation to empowerment and continuous improvement. The Stoics understood that personal growth is not a linear journey, but a cyclical process of self-reflection, learning, and implementation. It requires a willingness to confront our shortcomings and embrace challenges as opportunities for growth rather than sources of self-doubt and negativity. One powerful example of this principle in action is the life story of Epictetus himself. Born into slavery and subjected to numerous hardships, Epictetus could have easily succumbed to bitterness, resentment, and self-pity. However, he chose a path of radical self-reflection and personal growth. Through his unwavering commitment to examining his thoughts, beliefs, and actions, Epictetus developed a profound understanding of the human condition and the path to inner freedom. His teachings have resonated for centuries and serve as a testament to the transformative power of self-reflection and growth. To cultivate this practice in your life, start by setting aside dedicated time for self-reflection, whether through journaling, meditation, or simply creating space for quiet contemplation. During these moments, ask yourself probing questions about your thoughts, beliefs, and actions, and approach your self-inquiry with curiosity and compassion. When you inevitably encounter moments of failure, setbacks, or negative self-talk, use them as opportunities for growth. Resist the urge to indulge in self-criticism or blame. Instead, turn your attention inward. Explore the lessons to be learned, the blind spots to be illuminated, and the steps to approach similar situations with greater wisdom and resilience. Remember, as Epictetus taught, seek not the good in external things, seek it in yourselves. By committing to the Stoic practice of self-reflection and growth, you unlock the key to overcoming negative thoughts and self-doubt from the inside out. It is a journey that requires courage, honesty, and a willingness to confront your limitations with humility, but the rewards are immeasurable. A more profound sense of self-awareness, resilience, and the ability to navigate life's challenges with wisdom and grace. Stoic quotes about negative thoughts and self-doubt. The ancient Stoic philosophers left us a treasure trove of wisdom for dealing with negative thoughts and self-doubt. Let's explore some of their most powerful insights. The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. Marcus Aurelius. Our thoughts shape our reality. By changing our thoughts, we can change our experience of life. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. Marcus Aurelius. Our suffering comes not from external events, but from our judgments about them, which we can change. How ridiculous and unrealistic is the man who is astonished at anything that happens in life. Marcus Aurelius. There is no need to be shocked or disturbed by life's inevitable challenges and setbacks. Acceptance is key. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Marcus Aurelius. Our persistent thoughts profoundly influence our state of being. Negative thoughts breed negativity. It is not the things themselves that disturb people, but their judgments about these things. Epictetus. Events themselves are neutral. Our interpretations cause us distress or inner peace. There is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will. Epictetus. Happiness comes from focusing our energy on what we can control, not the uncontrollable. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Epictetus. We cannot always control circumstances, but we can control our responses to them. Men are disturbed not by things, but by the view which they take of them. Epictetus. Our perspective, not external events, is the true source of our inner turmoil or peace. Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do happen, and you will go on well. Epictetus. Acceptance, not resistance, is the path to tranquility. We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality. Seneca. Our pessimistic forecasts often cause more suffering than reality itself. Nothing happens to anybody which he is not fitted by nature to bear. Marcus Aurelius. We have the innate resilience to withstand whatever life brings our way. Remove the judgment, and you have removed the thought, I am hurt, and the hurt itself is gone. Marcus Aurelius. It is our judgments that create our suffering, not circumstances themselves. Until we have begun to go without them, we fail to realize how unnecessary many things are. We've been using them not because we needed them, but because we had them. Seneca. These words encapsulate the essence of the Stoic approach, the recognition that true freedom and fulfillment arise not from external circumstances or possessions, but from the cultivation of our inner resources, resilience, and alignment with our deepest values. Internalizing these Stoic teachings allows us to rewire our minds, question our negative thought patterns, and cultivate a more resilient, empowered mindset. The path to overcoming self-doubt lies in changing our perspectives and reactions, not controlling the uncontrollable. Remember, the journey toward overcoming negative thoughts and self-doubt is not a destination, but a continuous practice, a lifelong commitment to personal growth, self-reflection, and the pursuit of a life well lived. Ever felt like life is pulling you in a million different directions, and no matter how hard you try, you just can't seem to find your footing? Well, you're not alone. Right now, across the globe, millions are feeling overwhelmed, not by a lack of dreams, but by the chaos of everyday demands that cloud their true potential. Today we're going to strip back the layers of noise and rediscover clarity through the lens of Stoicism, a philosophy that has empowered thinkers and leaders for centuries to face life's turbulence with calm and resilience. Now, if you find yourself nodding along, thinking, yes, that's exactly what I need, then I'm glad you're here. And if you appreciate what we're doing, showing a little love by hitting that subscribe button won't cost a thing, but will mean the world to us. Stick with me through this journey today, because every single moment of this video is packed with insights that could just be the answer you've been looking for. Together we'll explore timeless Stoic strategies to reset, restart, and refocus. Because sometimes, all you need to change your life is to view it from a new perspective. Let's dive in. Let's talk about a concept that might seem simple on the surface, but is incredibly transformative once you dive deep. Reset. Specifically, I want to focus on the idea of clearing the clutter. It's a powerful metaphor, isn't it? Just saying it out loud feels like a breath of fresh air. Now, when you think of clutter, you might picture a desk buried under piles of papers, or a closet stuffed to the brim with clothes you haven't worn in years. But I'm not just talking about physical clutter. I'm talking about the mental and emotional clutter that piles up in our lives, often without us even noticing. I'm talking about the mental and emotional clutter that piles up in our lives, often without us even noticing. Here's a personal story for you. A while back, I found myself feeling unusually stressed and anxious. I was meeting deadlines, hitting my targets, doing all the right things, but something felt off. My mind felt cluttered, like an attic filled with old boxes. Boxes of worries, doubts, and old grudges I couldn't seem to throw out. I needed a reset, not just superficially but deeply. The Stoics like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius often spoke about the importance of simplifying life to see clearly. They believed in discarding not just unnecessary physical possessions, but also unnecessary thoughts and emotions that complicate our lives. This Stoic principle became my guiding light. I began by asking myself tough questions, the kind that make you pause and really think. What am I holding on to that no longer serves me? What fears are just old habits in disguise? This process of questioning is like sorting through that attic. Each item, each thought, each emotion needs to be picked up, examined, and then, most importantly, decided upon. Do I keep it? Do I let it go? This is where the real clearing starts. It's about recognizing that some worries are just noise, distractions from what truly matters. They don't need to be in my space, in my head, or in my heart. Resetting is about making space for new growth, new experiences. It's like preparing a garden at the start of spring. You clear out the dead leaves and weeds, not because the work is fun, but because you know it's necessary. For new life to thrive, the Stoics remind us that every new day brings with it a chance to start afresh, to realign with our values and our goals. They teach us that freedom comes not from external achievements, but from internal balance and peace. As I embarked on this journey of clearing out, I started small. I tackled one box at a time. One week I focused on letting go of a grudge. Another week it was about dialing back the self-doubt, turning down the volume on that critical inner voice that said, "You can't do this." Each act of letting go felt like a weight lifting off my shoulders. Now, let me ask you, what's cluttering your mind? What's taking up space in your life that no longer serves a positive purpose? Maybe it's resentment over a past failure, or anxiety about an uncertain future. Maybe it's the unrealistic standards you set for yourself, or the toxic relationships that drain your energy. Imagine if you started clearing that clutter. Imagine the freedom, the lightness, the room to breathe and grow. It's not just about removing the bad, but about making space for the good, for something better. This isn't about denying your past experiences, but about choosing not to let them define or limit you anymore. And here's the thing about resetting. It's not a one-time event. It's a continuous process, a habit you develop. Each day is a new opportunity to clear away what doesn't belong and reinforce what does. It's about building resilience, about learning to bounce back faster and stronger because you're not weighed down by unnecessary baggage. So, as you listen to this, think about what you can reset in your life today. It doesn't have to be big. Start small. Maybe it's deciding to forgive someone, to forgive yourself, or to set aside a worry that's been nagging at you. Remember, each piece of clutter you clear makes room for something invaluable. Peace of mind, clarity, and the strength to face whatever comes next. As the Stoics would say, the obstacle in the path becomes the path. Every challenge, every bit of clutter we clear, shapes us, molds us into the people we are meant to be. So let's reset, not just once, but as a way of life. Let's make it count. Because in the clarity of a decluttered mind and heart lies the power to craft a truly fulfilling life. Now, let's tackle the concept of restart. This is where the real grit of life comes into play. It's about picking yourself up after you've been knocked down, dusting yourself off, and stepping back into the ring. It's a test of courage, a true measure of your resilience. And let me tell you, it's not for the faint of heart, but it is for everyone. We all face moments when the easiest thing to do would be to give up. But here's where Stoic wisdom shines through, teaching us that every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. There was a time in my life when I hit rock bottom. I had faced a major setback in my career, and everything I had worked so hard for seemed to crumble right before my eyes. It felt like standing amidst the ruins of a once glorious castle that I had built, brick by brick. The temptation to just sit in the rubble was overwhelming. But here's the kicker. The Stoics say, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. And that's what I did. I made my obstacle my way forward. Restarting isn't about brushing off your failures as if they're nothing. No, it's about acknowledging them, learning from them. It's about looking your failures in the eye and saying, you can't keep me down. Because the truth is, every failure is ripe with potential to teach us something invaluable, something that success never could. I asked myself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow? The answers to those questions were the first steps I took toward my restart. I started by setting small, manageable goals. It wasn't about reclaiming all my lost ground in a day. Instead, it was about moving forward one small step at a time. Each step, no matter how small, was a victory. It was a defiance of failure, a testament to my resilience. And with each step, my journey forward gathered momentum. But let's be real, restarting can be daunting. You're not always going to have clear direction. That's where the Stoic practice of premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils, comes in. It's about visualizing the worst-case scenarios and preparing for them. Not to be pessimistic, but to be prepared. When you've already faced your fears in your mind, taking action in the real world becomes less daunting. It's like rehearsing for a play. When the curtains lift, you're ready to perform. And here's a thought for you. How often do you hold back because the fear of failure paralyzes you? Imagine what you could achieve if you viewed each failure as a step up, not a stumble. Picture yourself as a phoenix, rising from the ashes, reborn and renewed. That's the essence of restarting. It's not about never failing. It's about never letting failure have the last word. During my restart, I also learned the importance of community. Sharing my struggles, being vulnerable, it connected me with others who were on their own paths of restarting. We supported each other, cheered for each small win, and pushed through setbacks together. Remember, you're not alone. Reach out, connect, share your journey. The strength you gain from others can be your greatest asset when restarting. Stoicism also teaches us the value of amor fati, a love of fate. It means embracing everything that happens to you, including your failures. It's about saying, this is exactly what I needed, because sometimes the lessons we need most can only be learned the hard way. Embracing your journey with all its ups and downs makes restarting not just a necessity, but a privilege. So, if you're standing at the crossroads, unsure if you can face starting over, let me leave you with this. Every restart is a declaration of hope. It's a commitment to yourself that you are not defined by your past, but by the courage you show in moving forward. And every time you choose to restart, you are taking another step toward becoming the person you are meant to be. Don't wait for the perfect moment to restart. Create it. Make today the day you pick up the pieces and craft a new beginning. Your next chapter is waiting to be written, and it starts with a single decision: to rise, restart, and embrace the journey ahead. Remember, in the words of Marcus Aurelius, very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. So, think like a Stoic, restart like a warrior, and transform your life into the masterpiece it's meant to be. Now let's talk about a crucial step in our journey of self-reinvention: refocusing. Refocusing is about keeping your eyes on the prize, about aligning your daily actions with your ultimate goals. It's easy to get sidetracked in this fast-paced world, to lose sight of what we truly want. The noise of everyday life can drown out our deepest desires and true intentions. But here's where the art of refocusing comes into play, guiding us back to our path, to what really matters. There was a time in my life when I felt I was drifting. My goals seemed blurry and my actions didn't align with what I deeply aspired to achieve. I was busy, sure, but not productive in the way I wanted to be. It was like sailing a boat without a compass. I was moving, but not necessarily forward. That's when I stumbled upon a Stoic principle that changed everything: the concept of prosocia, or attentive focus. This ancient idea taught me the importance of mindfulness and intentionality in every action. Refocusing means being deliberate about what you let into your life. It's about pruning the unnecessary, the trivial, the distractions that sap your energy and scatter your focus. It's about asking yourself, is what I'm doing right now serving my ultimate purpose? If not, it might be time to let it go. Let's get practical here. Start by defining your top priorities. What are the 3 things that, if you achieve them, would make the biggest impact on your life? Write them down. Keep them somewhere you can see every day. And each day, do at least one thing that moves you closer to one of those goals. It's about small, consistent actions. As the Stoics believed, it's not the grand gestures but the daily decisions that shape our destinies. Refocusing also involves setting boundaries, sturdy, visible lines that protect your time and energy. It means saying no to unnecessary commitments that do not align with your goals. It means being okay with disappointing others, to not disappoint yourself. Stoicism teaches us that our time and our focus are among the few things we can control. Use them wisely. Here's something to ponder. How often do you find yourself doing something just because it's what you've always done? Maybe it's a job that no longer fulfills you, a habit that no longer serves you, or a relationship that drains more than it gives. Imagine the clarity and freedom you'd feel if you started saying yes only to things that align with your deeper values and goals. That's what refocusing is all about. During my own refocusing phase, I realized how scattered my efforts had been. I was trying to chase too many goals, which meant I wasn't making meaningful progress in any area. I took a step back and reevaluated my path. I started to cut out the clutter, not just in my physical space, but in my commitments, in my social media use, in how I spent my leisure time. Every piece of clutter cleared was like removing a blindfold. My goals came back into sharp focus. Refocusing is not a one-time fix. It's a continuous process. Life changes, goals evolve, and our focus needs to shift accordingly. It's like recalibrating a compass when you find out you've been slightly off course. It's not a failure. It's a necessary part of navigating. And if you're wondering if it's too late to refocus, let me remind you of a Stoic truth. It's never too late to be who you might have been. Every moment is a chance to turn things around, to align yourself with your aspirations. Your past decisions do not have to dictate your future. The power to change your focus lies in your hands, right here, right now. So take a moment today to ask yourself, what am I focusing on? Is it what matters most to me? If not, what can I change? Remember, refocusing is about more than just achieving goals. It's about crafting a life that's truly worth living, a life that reflects your deepest values and aspirations. Refocus now, not tomorrow, not next week, but today. Let every step you take be purposeful. Let every decision be intentional. And watch as the pieces of the puzzle start to fit together, revealing a picture of a life that's not only successful, but also deeply fulfilling. As we wrap up our journey today, let's talk about maintaining momentum. It's one thing to start anew, to reset your compass, restart your engine, or refocus your lens. But it's another to keep that energy flowing, to keep pushing forward even when the initial spark has dimmed. This, my friends, is where the true challenge lies, and also where the most rewarding part of our journey begins. Remember, every great story you've ever heard, every inspiring journey you've admired, didn't just happen overnight. They were built on consistency, perseverance, and a steadfast commitment to the end goal. And here's where the Stoic principle of endurance, or what they call hypomone, comes into play. It's about enduring the long march, sticking to your path even when it's steep and fraught with obstacles. Think about the last time you started something new. Maybe it was a fitness regimen, a business venture, or a personal project. The beginning was likely exciting, filled with energy and grand visions of success. But as time went on, perhaps the enthusiasm waned. Maybe obstacles appeared that you hadn't anticipated. This is natural. It's a part of any worthwhile endeavor. But the key to success? It isn't just starting strong. It's about continuing strong. So how do we maintain this momentum? First, by setting small, incremental goals. Break down your big, audacious goals into smaller, manageable tasks. Each small victory keeps your spirits high and your focus sharp. It's like climbing a mountain, one step at a time, one breath at a time, and before you know it, you'll look back and marvel at how high you've climbed. Another vital tool for maintaining momentum is reflection. Regularly take stock of your progress. What have you learned? What would you do differently? What can you celebrate? Reflecting isn't just about patting yourself on the back. It's about learning and adjusting your strategy as you go. It's about being honest with yourself and addressing the gaps without judgment. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you paused to appreciate how far you've come? Often, we are our own harshest critics, and in the rush to achieve more, we forget to acknowledge our achievements. Yet, Stoicism teaches us the importance of gratitude, not just for others, but for our own efforts and progress. Gratitude not only brightens our outlook, but also fortifies our will to persevere. And speaking of perseverance, remember to lean on your support network. Share your journey, seek advice, and offer support to others in return. Momentum is easier to maintain when you know you're not alone, when you have people cheering for you, waiting at the finish line and running alongside you. Every single day, we're faced with moments that test our patience and rattle our calm. Whether it's a traffic jam when you're already late, a coworker's irritating habits, or your phone battery dying in the middle of an important call, life seems full of these little battles. It's not just about these minor irritations, though. It's about how we respond to them that shapes our days and, ultimately, our lives. It's important to remember that everyone feels angry sometimes. It's part of being human. But here's where Stoicism steps in with its profound wisdom. Stoicism teaches us that while we can't always control what happens to us, we can control how we respond. This is pivotal in transforming our relationship with anger. Think about it. When something goes wrong or someone frustrates us, our first instinct might be to react with anger. But what if, instead, we paused and considered this reaction? Stoicism encourages us to see these moments as opportunities to practice virtues like patience, understanding, and resilience. By acknowledging anger as a natural emotion, we set the stage for learning how to handle it more effectively. The Stoic philosophers like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius often discuss the concept of not being swayed by external events, but instead focusing on our internal responses. They believe that our emotions, including anger, come from our judgments about events, not the events themselves. So, when we feel angry, it's often because we're placing a particular value or judgment on what's happened. This understanding opens up a powerful opportunity for us. Each time we feel anger rising, we can ask ourselves, what judgment am I making about this situation? Is there another way to view it? This is not about suppressing or denying your anger. It's about understanding it. By getting to the root of what triggers our anger, we can start to change our responses. For instance, if you get cut off in traffic and feel the anger bubbling up, recognize this as a chance to examine why you react this way. Is it really the action of the other driver, or is it your belief that your route should be obstacle-free? Moreover, acknowledging anger helps us empathize with others who might also struggle with their emotions. This empathy can deepen our connections and improve our interactions. It's about compassion, both for ourselves and for others, as we navigate the complexities of human emotions. This idea is at the heart of Stoic philosophy and is incredibly liberating once you truly grasp it. Think about it. So much of our frustration and anger stems from situations or people we simply can't change, no matter how much we might want to. The Stoics, like the wise Marcus Aurelius, taught that the real power lies in recognizing the difference between what we can control and what we can't. You control your thoughts, your decisions, and your actions. That's it. Everything else is more or less out of your hands. Other people's actions, the weather, the past, and much of the future. But here's where it gets interesting. By focusing on our own reactions and attitudes, we reclaim a tremendous amount of power. Instead of wasting energy on the uncontrollable, we invest it in what we can actually influence. Let's make it practical. Say you're working on a group project and someone isn't pulling their weight. It's easy to get frustrated, right? You might even feel your temper rising, but ask yourself, what part of this situation can I actually control? You can't make your teammate work harder, but you can control how you respond to the challenge. Maybe it's a conversation about expectations, or perhaps it's reallocating work within the group. By shifting your focus like this, you not only reduce your own stress, but also open up more constructive ways to address the problem. Another aspect of this Stoic principle is accepting that some things are just beyond our control. This acceptance doesn't mean resignation. It means understanding where our power truly lies. It's about not letting external events dictate your peace of mind. For instance, if you're stuck in traffic and getting irritated because you're going to be late, pause and think, can I control the traffic? No. But what can you control? Your reaction. Maybe you turn on an audiobook or some calming music, or use the time to think through your day. The beauty of focusing on what you can control is that it gradually builds a stronger, more resilient mindset. Over time, you'll find yourself less shaken by life's ups and downs because you know where your responsibilities lie and where they don't. This isn't about suppressing your feelings, but about channeling your energies more productively. It's about being fully present in the moment, aware of where we are and what we're doing, without being overly reactive or overwhelmed by what's going on around us. This aligns beautifully with Stoic teachings, which emphasize awareness of our thoughts and actions and maintaining control over our reactions to external circumstances. So why practice mindfulness? Because it helps us to pause between our experiences and our reactions to them. By becoming more mindful, we can choose responses that align with our values and goals instead of getting swept away by emotions. For example, when someone says something that upsets you, instead of immediately reacting or snapping back, mindfulness allows you to take a step back. You notice your emotional surge, but choose to observe it passively, without acting on it immediately. This space that mindfulness creates is not just calming, it's empowering. It gives you the chance to choose a response that you won't regret later. Let's talk about how to incorporate mindfulness into daily life, because it sounds great in theory, but it's in the practice that the real magic happens. One simple technique is to focus on your breathing. When you find yourself feeling anxious or angry, take a moment to concentrate on deep, slow breaths. This focus pulls your mind away from the triggers of stress or anger and brings you back to what you can control: your breath. Another practical method is what I like to call mindful observation. Choose an ordinary task or moment, like drinking a cup of coffee. Focus all your senses on this experience. Notice the aroma, the heat of the cup in your hands, the taste. This practice of engaging fully with the present moment can transform an ordinary experience into a richer, more textured moment. What's fascinating about this is that it trains your brain to apply the same level of awareness to more challenging situations. When anger or frustration arises, you'll be better equipped to handle it with the same focus and calm. Stoicism also teaches us about the impermanence of our experiences. Nothing lasts forever, not even our emotions. Mindfulness complements this by helping us to experience our feelings without judgment. Acknowledge that you're angry, recognize it, but also remind yourself that this anger is just a passing state. It's not who you are, and it doesn't control you, unless you let it. The idea that everything changes and nothing lasts forever is a universal truth that can help us navigate life's ups and downs with more grace and less frustration. It's about understanding that our circumstances, emotions, and even our thoughts are constantly in flux, and learning to embrace this constant state of change rather than resisting it. Think about how often we get upset because things didn't go as planned. Maybe it was a job promotion that didn't come through, a relationship that ended unexpectedly, or a sudden change in our health. Our first reaction might be to resist these changes, to get angry or sad. But Stoicism invites us to look at these situations differently, through the lens of impermanence. When we truly grasp that nothing is permanent, we start to realize that our anger or disappointment is also temporary. This doesn't diminish the importance of our feelings, but gives us a more balanced perspective on them. Embracing impermanence allows us to live more in the present and worry less about the past and the future. If you know that everything is temporary, you begin to appreciate your experiences and the people around you more deeply. You don't take things for granted because you're aware that circumstances can change at any moment. This awareness can be incredibly freeing. It reduces the sting of negative events and enhances the joy of positive ones. Now, how do we practice accepting impermanence in daily life? Start by reflecting on the transient nature of your surroundings and experiences. For example, watch how the seasons change. Observe how your feelings shift throughout the day, or how your relationships evolve over time. These observations can be reminders that change is the only constant. Another way to integrate this into your life is by adjusting how you respond to disruptions or unexpected changes. Instead of reacting with frustration when something doesn't go your way, take a moment to acknowledge that this change is part of a bigger flow of life. It's an opportunity to adapt and grow. Think about a time when something didn't work out as you had hoped, and then something better came along. Often, it's only in hindsight that we see how these changes were beneficial. Stoicism doesn't just ask us to accept impermanence, it encourages us to find strength in it. Each change and ending is a chance to practice resilience and flexibility. By fostering this mindset, we not only cope with life's challenges more effectively, but also learn to move through them with a sense of peace and anticipation for what's next. The Stoics believe that becoming aware of the root causes of our emotions could lead to greater self-mastery. When we understand our emotions, we are better equipped to respond to life's challenges in ways that are aligned with our values and goals, rather than simply reacting out of habit or impulse. Every emotion we experience, whether it's anger, joy, sadness, or fear, is triggered by our perception. For example, if you feel angry when someone interrupts you while speaking, it's worth exploring why. Is it because you feel disrespected? Or perhaps it reflects a deeper insecurity about your voice being heard. By digging into these questions, you can begin to understand not just your reactions, but also the beliefs and values that underlie them. This understanding is crucial because it gives you the opportunity to change your perceptions and consequently the way you feel. Stoicism teaches us that our emotions are predicated on our judgments. The good news is that judgments can be examined and changed. So when you feel a strong emotion, try to step back and ask yourself, what am I believing right now? Is this belief true? Is it helpful? This kind of questioning can be very powerful. It allows you to shift your perspective and choose a different emotional response, one that serves you better. For instance, if you're feeling anxious about a work presentation, it might be because you believe that you must perform perfectly in order to be respected. But is this really true? Likely, your colleagues value your effort and sincerity more than perfection. Recognizing this can alleviate some of your anxiety and help you approach the situation with more calmness and confidence. Practically speaking, journaling can be an incredibly effective tool for understanding your emotions. By writing down what you feel and exploring why you feel it, you can uncover patterns and triggers that you might not be aware of otherwise. This reflection not only helps in the moment, but also builds a sort of emotional intelligence over time that can make you more resilient and adaptable. Another approach is to discuss your feelings with someone you trust, a friend, a family member, or a mentor. Speaking about your emotions can provide new insights and perspectives that you might not have considered. It's often through dialogue that we come to new understandings about ourselves and our relationships. Embracing the Stoic approach to emotions isn't about suppressing what you feel. On the contrary, it's about engaging with your emotions in a proactive and reflective way. It's about taking control of the narrative of your inner life. By understanding your emotions, you're not just reacting to the world, you're actively shaping your experience of it. Stoicism teaches us the value of patience, not just as a way to endure, but as a method to transform our experiences. Patience, according to Stoic philosophy, isn't just about waiting, it's about how we behave while we wait. It's about maintaining our composure and dignity in the face of life's delays and challenges, understanding that these are often outside our control. In our daily lives, we encounter countless situations that can trigger impatience. From a slow-moving line at the grocery store to a traffic jam or a delayed response from a colleague. Our first instinct might be to feel irritated or stressed, but here's where Stoicism comes into play. It encourages us to see these moments as opportunities to practice virtue. Every instance of delay is a chance to exercise patience, to reinforce our ability to stay calm and collected. So, how can we develop patience in practical terms? One effective approach is to adjust our expectations. Often, our impatience stems from a mismatch between our expectations and reality. If we start by acknowledging that delays and obstacles are natural parts of life, we're less likely to get upset when they occur. This doesn't mean lowering our standards, but rather aligning our expectations with the fact that the world won't always operate according to our preferences. Another key method is to use the moments of waiting as opportunities for growth and reflection. If you're stuck in traffic, instead of fuming over the delay, you can turn it into valuable time, listening to an audiobook, practice deep breathing, or simply reflect on your day. This shift in perspective turns a frustrating situation into a productive or relaxing one. Practicing mindfulness is also a powerful ally in developing patience. By being present in the moment and fully engaging with it, we can distance ourselves from the feelings of urgency and restlessness that often accompany waiting. Mindfulness helps us cultivate a peaceful state of mind that buffers us against the stirrings of impatience. Stoicism not only advocates for patience, but also for understanding the impermanence of our current state. Remembering that this too shall pass can help us endure unpleasant situations, whether it's waiting for a delayed flight or enduring a long recovery from an illness. The knowledge that it is temporary makes it more bearable. Finally, celebrating small victories is crucial in developing patience. When you manage to stay calm during a situation that would normally make you impatient, acknowledge and reward yourself for this achievement. This reinforces the behavior and makes it more likely to become a habit. This is one of those transformative experiences that not only changes the way we relate to others, but also profoundly affects our inner peace. Forgiveness in the Stoic sense is not about condoning wrongdoings or forgetting the harm done. It's about freeing ourselves from the emotional burden that comes from carrying grudges. Forgiveness requires a strong sense of self-awareness and control over one's emotions, qualities that Stoics strive to develop. It involves recognizing that our anger and hurt, while natural and valid responses to perceived injustices, are ultimately within our control. This doesn't mean that the process is simple or immediate. Forgiveness can be challenging. It often requires a deliberate, concerted effort to let go of deep-seated feelings of injustice. Consider the power that comes from deciding not to allow someone else's actions to disturb your inner tranquility. This is the essence of Stoic forgiveness. It's about making a conscious choice to not let past actions continually affect your present state of mind. This decision helps you reclaim your emotional energy and focus it on more constructive pursuits that align with your values and goals. Now, how do we start practicing forgiveness in everyday life? It begins with the recognition that all humans are fallible, ourselves included. We all make mistakes, sometimes out of ignorance, sometimes out of malice. Reflecting on our own shortcomings can help us develop empathy towards others, making it easier to forgive. Another Stoic practice is to consider the bigger picture. Often, the things we hold on to are not as significant in the grand scheme of our lives. By focusing on our long-term well-being, which is bolstered by peace and harmony, the immediate sting of grievances can be mitigated. Practicing forgiveness also involves actively reframing our narratives. Instead of viewing yourself as a victim, which can perpetuate feelings of anger and helplessness, try to see yourself as a survivor, or even a hero of your story, one who has overcome challenges and emerged stronger. This shift in perspective not only facilitates forgiveness, but also empowers you in your life's journey. Moreover, engaging in meditation or mindfulness exercises can assist in the process. These practices help calm the mind and provide the space needed to process emotions more rationally and less reactively. As you sit quietly and focus on your breath, allow thoughts of forgiveness to enter your mind. Picture those you feel have wronged you and imagine sending them thoughts of goodwill. This doesn't mean you accept the wrong, but you are choosing to release its hold over you. Finally, it's important to understand that forgiveness is a process, sometimes a lengthy one. It doesn't happen all at once, and that's perfectly okay. Each step towards forgiveness, no matter how small, is a step towards a freer, more emotionally balanced life. At its essence, self-control allows us to pause before reacting, giving us the time to consider whether our impulses align with our long-term goals. For instance, if you're trying to lead a healthier lifestyle, self-control is what helps you choose not to eat that late-night junk food. In emotional situations, self-control helps you hold back a harsh word or an angry reply, preserving relationships and maintaining peace of mind. How can we strengthen this essential skill? One effective Stoic practice is to regularly reflect on our actions and their consequences. This could be as simple as taking a few minutes each evening to think about the choices you made throughout the day. Were there moments when you lacked self-control? What triggered it? Understanding these patterns is the first step towards managing them. Another powerful technique is to set clear personal rules for behavior based on your values. Stoicism teaches us that living according to rational principles is key to a good life. By setting and following your own rules, for example, not checking your phone during meals or limiting time spent on social media, you exercise self-control in ways that directly improve your daily life and well-being. Visualization is another tool that can be incredibly helpful. Before entering a situation where you know you might be tempted to act impulsively, take a moment to visualize yourself handling the situation with calm and restraint. Imagine the satisfaction you'll feel from acting in accordance with your principles. This mental rehearsal can make it much easier to keep your cool in the heat of the moment. It's also beneficial to gradually increase your tolerance for discomfort, which is a big part of what self-control is all about. The Stoics believe that by voluntarily exposing ourselves to discomfort, whether it's cold showers, fasting, or resisting urges, we can strengthen our willpower. These practices teach us that we can endure discomfort and that it's often not as bad as we fear. This realization directly feeds into our ability to exercise self-retreat in more complex emotional or social situations. Ever found yourself staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m., wondering how to muster the strength for another day? We've all been there, or at least most of us have. Those moments when life feels like a relentless storm and all you're looking for is a beacon to guide you through? Well, you're not alone. Now, if you're new here or haven't done it yet, hit that notification bell and subscribe. Why? Because we're about to dive deep into 8 lessons that have the power to transform hard days into stepping stones. 1. Embrace the present moment. Life has a funny way of throwing curveballs at us. Sometimes it feels like we're juggling a million things at once, and the weight of the world is on our shoulders. Remember that time when you felt the weight of a looming deadline or the sting of a recent heartbreak? But here's a secret. The power to overcome these challenges lies in the present moment. It's easy to get lost in the worries of tomorrow or the regrets of yesterday. Yet, the only moment we truly have control over is the one happening right now. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This quote isn't just a fancy string of words. It's a call to action. It reminds us that while we can't always control what happens around us, we can control how we react. By focusing on the present, we can make choices that align with our values and, in doing so, find peace amidst the chaos. So, next time you find yourself overwhelmed, take a deep breath and ground yourself in the present. Feel the air around you, listen to the sounds, and remind yourself that this moment, right here and now, is where your power lies. By embracing the present, you're not just surviving the hard days, you're thriving in them. With each passing moment, you're building resilience, wisdom, and strength for whatever comes next. 2. Practice gratitude. Amidst the struggles and hustle of our daily lives, it's all too easy to focus on what we lack, the missed opportunities, the things we desire but don't have, and the challenges that seem insurmountable. Yet there's a simple practice that can shift our perspective and bring light to even the darkest days. Gratitude. By taking a moment to acknowledge the good in our lives, we not only find contentment, but also build a foundation of resilience against life's storms. Seneca, a renowned Stoic philosopher, elegantly stated, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." This wisdom reminds us that joy doesn't come from always wanting more, but from appreciating what we already have, whether it's the warmth of a friend's smile, the comfort of a home, or the simple pleasure of a cup of tea. There's always something to be thankful for. In that cup of tea, perhaps you can taste the memories of laughter shared with loved ones, or the solace it provided on a cold, lonely night. By recognizing these moments and cherishing them, we cultivate a mindset that sees the silver lining in every cloud. Gratitude, however, isn't just about acknowledging the good times. It's also about finding grace in our struggles. Every challenge we face is an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to become stronger. So when the going gets tough, remember to pause and find something, no matter how small, to be grateful for. This practice won't change the situation, but it will change how you face it. And often, that makes all the difference. 3. Cultivate inner strength. Life's journey is much like sailing on vast, unpredictable seas. Some days are calm and serene, while others bring fierce storms that challenge our very core. It's during these tempests that our inner strength becomes our most valuable asset. This strength isn't about physical might. It's about the resilience of the spirit, the fortitude of the mind, and the courage of the heart. It's that quiet whisper in the midst of chaos, urging us to hold on just a little longer. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher of great renown, once proclaimed, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." These words serve as a beacon, guiding us to understand that our reactions, shaped by our inner strength, define our journey. External events, no matter how daunting, have power over us only if we grant them that authority. By cultivating a robust inner self, we can face adversity with grace, turning obstacles into stepping stones toward personal growth. Building this inner strength requires consistent effort, It's about daily choices, small acts of courage, and embracing challenges as opportunities for growth. It's about seeking wisdom, learning from experiences, and understanding that every setback is a lesson in disguise. As we nurture this strength within, we not only equip ourselves to weather life's storms, but also to sail toward horizons we once thought unreachable. Remember, it's not the absence of challenges that defines a fulfilling life, but the ability to rise above them with unwavering inner strength. 4. Practice patience. Have you ever watched a flower bloom? It doesn't rush to unveil its beauty. It takes its time, unfolding petal by petal, revealing its splendor in its own perfect moment. Much like that flower, our lives, too, have a rhythm, a pace at which things are meant to happen. Just as the flower doesn't hasten its bloom, we too must learn the art of patience. Each time you held a loved one's hand during a silent moment, wasn't the unspoken bond felt more deeply than words could convey? Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, once mused, "Time is a river, a violent current of events, glimpsed once and already carried past us, and another follows and is gone." This profound reflection reminds us that time, with its relentless flow, carries with it both challenges and triumphs. Our impatience often stems from a desire to control this flow, to hasten the good and avoid the bad. Yet true strength lies in understanding that we cannot command the river of time, but we can choose how we navigate its waters. Patience isn't merely about waiting. It's about waiting with purpose. It's about understanding that every moment has its significance, even if it's not immediately apparent. When we practice patience, we're not just biding our time. We're actively preparing, growing, and evolving so that when the right moment arrives, we're ready to embrace it fully. So, the next time you find yourself growing impatient, remember the blooming flower and the flowing river. Understand that your moment will come, and when it does, it will be worth the wait. 5. Understand what is within your control. Life's a bit like a stormy night. Thunder rumbles, lightning strikes, and the wind howls, trying to knock you off your feet. You can't command the storm to stop, nor can you dictate the path of the lightning. But you can choose to light a candle, find shelter, and hold tight to what keeps you grounded. It's not about controlling the storm, but understanding what's within your grasp and what isn't. Epictetus, a Stoic thinker from a time long past, whispered a truth that still echoes today. We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. It's a simple yet profound realization. We waste so much energy fretting over things beyond our reach, things we can't change no matter how hard we try. But what if, instead, we focused on what we can influence? Our reactions, our emotions, our decisions. These are the candles we can light against the darkness. So, when life's tempests rage, remember this: you have the power to choose. You can't halt the rain or silence the thunder, but you can decide how you'll dance in the rain or whether you'll cower from the noise. Recognizing what's within your control is liberating. It's the first step toward not just enduring life's storms, but thriving amidst them. And as the dawn breaks, you'll find that the storm wasn't the story. It was how you chose to face it. 6. Learn from adversity. Imagine, for a moment, a blacksmith forging a blade. The metal, once raw and unshaped, undergoes intense heat and forceful hammering. Yet with each strike, it becomes sharper, stronger, more refined. Similarly, life's adversities, though they may seem harsh and unyielding, have the potential to shape us, refine our character, and mold us into better versions of ourselves. Seneca, an ancient Stoic philosopher, once declared, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body." These words, though centuries old, resonate with timeless truth. Challenges, setbacks, and hardships aren't mere obstacles in our path. They are opportunities. Opportunities to grow, to learn, and to discover strengths we never knew we possessed. Every trial we face is a lesson in disguise, waiting to be unraveled. Embracing adversity doesn't mean seeking out hardships or reveling in pain. It means recognizing the inherent value in our struggles. It's about shifting our perspective, from seeing challenges as burdens to viewing them as stepping stones toward wisdom and growth. So, when you find yourself amidst life's fiery trials, remember the blacksmith and his blade. Understand that with the right mindset, adversity can be the very force that shapes you into a masterpiece. 7. Seek wisdom. Wisdom isn't a gift bestowed upon a chosen few. It's a treasure, often hidden in plain sight, waiting for those with the courage and determination to seek it out. The very fact that you've journeyed this far, delving into these lessons, is a testament to your genuine pursuit of wisdom. Your commitment is commendable, and it's a clear sign that you're on the right path. The ancient Stoic philosopher Seneca once remarked, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." This isn't merely a call to gather knowledge, but an invitation to seek deeper understanding, to question, to reflect, and to grow. True wisdom isn't about knowing all the answers. It's about asking the right questions and having the humility to learn from both successes and failures. Actively seeking wisdom requires an open heart and a curious mind. It's about listening more than speaking, observing more than showing, and understanding that every person you meet, every experience you encounter, holds a lesson. Wisdom isn't a destination, it's a journey that enriches the soul, sharpens the mind, and broadens the horizon. So, as you continue on this path, remember to cherish every step, every insight, and every revelation. For in the quest for wisdom, the journey itself is the greatest reward. 8. Cultivate compassion. Have you ever paused to consider the battles others might be fighting, hidden behind their smiles or silent gazes? Our journey through life is unique, filled with its own set of challenges and joys. Yet amidst our personal struggles, there lies an opportunity, a golden thread that can weave us closer to others. The act of compassion. Marcus Aurelius once said, "What injures the hive, injures the bee." This sentiment, though simple, carries profound depth. When we extend kindness, understanding, and empathy toward others, we're not just aiding them, we're nurturing the collective human spirit. Compassion isn't just about feeling pity or sorrow for someone's misfortunes. It's about understanding their pain as if it were your own, and taking steps, however small, to alleviate it. Cultivating compassion requires a conscious effort. It's about listening more than speaking, feeling more than judging, and acting more than merely observing. In a world that often feels divided, compassion serves as a bridge, connecting hearts and mending wounds. By embracing this virtue, we not only uplift others, but also find a deeper sense of purpose and fulfillment in our own lives. After all, in the grand tapestry of existence, our threads are interwoven. When we choose compassion, we're choosing a richer, more harmonious design for all. These 8 Stoic lessons will fortify your resilience, serenity, and determination during challenging times. By embracing them consistently, you'll be equipped to lead a virtuous and content life amidst the chaos and unpredictability of the world. But don't just take my word for it. Put these lessons into practice and witness the transformative results. It's a harsh reality, but some people in our lives take pleasure in causing harm and chaos. Think about it. You could be sharing moments, trusting someone, only to discover they are the very source of your turmoil. Today, we dive deep into a topic that's as fascinating as it is frightening, recognizing the signs you're dealing with an evil person. Whether it's a colleague, a friend, or even a family member, these individuals can be masters of deception, hiding their true nature behind charm and charisma. Today, we're not just exploring this dark side of human behavior out of curiosity. Understanding these signs can be life-changing. The Stoics believed in the power of perception and the importance of living a life guided by reason and virtue. By identifying and understanding these toxic traits, we can protect our peace of mind and cultivate healthier relationships, staying true to the principles of wisdom and self-control. Stay with us as we uncover 5 telltale signs of an evil person. By the end of this video, you'll not only be better equipped to spot these behaviors, but also learn practical ways to safeguard your mental health and well-being. And if you appreciate what we're doing here, a simple, free favor I'll ask from you is to hit the subscribe button. Please don't skip any part of the video. You won't want to miss our special bonus section, where I'll share an effective strategy for setting firm boundaries with these individuals. Let's embark on this journey of self-awareness and resilience together. Number 1, charming and charismatic at first. When we talk about people who seem charming and charismatic at first, it's important to remember that appearances can be deceiving. These individuals often have a way of lighting up a room, making everyone around them feel special and valued. They know exactly what to say to make you feel like you've just made a new best friend. At first glance, they seem like the perfect person, witty, engaging, and seemingly interested in your life. It's easy to get swept up in their charm, thinking you've found someone truly special. However, the Stoics teach us to look beyond the surface and seek the truth through rational thought and observation. Over time, you might start to notice little cracks in their facade. Maybe they always need to be the center of attention, overshadowing others in social settings. They might talk over you, interrupt you, or even subtly put you down in front of others. These aren't just quirks or signs of an extroverted personality. They're red flags. The Stoics would advise us to observe these behaviors with a clear mind, unclouded by the initial excitement of their charisma. Imagine being at a party where this person is the life of the event, telling jokes and captivating the crowd. At first, it feels great to be in their orbit, but as the evening progresses, you realize they're dominating every conversation, making everything about themselves. When you try to share something about your life, they quickly redirect the topic back to them. This is where the principle of apatheia, a state of being undisturbed by external things, comes in handy. By staying emotionally balanced, you can see through their charming act and recognize the self-centered nature underneath. It's also crucial to pay attention to how they react when things don't go their way. A person who is genuinely kind and caring will handle disappointments and disagreements with grace and understanding. But someone who is merely playing a role to gain your trust might quickly become angry or defensive. They might lash out or try to manipulate the situation to regain control. According to Stoic wisdom, such reactions are clear indicators of a lack of virtuous character. Marcus Aurelius reminds us to be wary of those who display signs of anger and manipulation, as these are not the traits of a rational and virtuous person. The key here is to take your time and trust your instinct. The Stoics believed in the power of observation and the importance of not rushing to judgment based on first impressions. Epictetus taught that we should carefully evaluate the character of those we allow into our inner circle. So, if someone seems too good to be true, give yourself the space to observe their actions over time. Notice how they treat others, especially when they think no one is watching. True character is revealed in how a person behaves when they aren't trying to impress anyone. Remember, not everyone who seems charming and charismatic has good intentions. Some people use their charm as a tool for manipulation. By staying grounded and mindful, you can protect yourself from being taken in by a superficial facade. Stay true to the principles of wisdom and discernment, and you'll be better equipped to navigate these complex social interactions. Another crucial sign to watch out for: a lack of empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. It's what allows us to connect deeply with those around us, to offer support when it's needed, and to create meaningful relationships. However, there are individuals out there who seem to completely lack this essential human trait. They don't care about how their actions or words affect others, and this can have a devastating impact on those around them. The Stoics believed in the importance of compassion and understanding as fundamental virtues. Marcus Aurelius often spoke about the interconnectedness of humanity and the need to consider the well-being of others as part of our own well-being. So, when we encounter someone who shows a blatant disregard for the feelings of others, it's a serious red flag. Imagine you're sharing something deeply personal with a friend, hoping for some comfort or understanding. Instead of showing any genuine concern, they brush off your feelings or even mock your vulnerability. This lack of empathy can make you feel isolated and misunderstood. It's not just about them not being there for you in tough times. It's also about them failing to share in your joy or celebrate your successes. A person who lacks empathy won't cheer for your achievements. They might even undermine them or take credit themselves. This behavior is not just limited to personal relationships. Consider a boss who pushes their employees to the brink, showing no concern for their well-being. They might demand long hours without fair compensation, ignore requests for time off, or publicly criticize employees in a way that's meant to humiliate rather than constructively guide. This creates a toxic work environment where people feel undervalued and stressed. The Stoics would advise us to maintain our inner peace and integrity in such situations, recognizing that the lack of empathy in others is a reflection of their character, not ours. Furthermore, a lack of empathy can lead to more sinister behaviors. People who cannot empathize with others may engage in actions that are outright cruel or without any sense of guilt or remorse. They might lie, cheat, or even inflict physical harm without a second thought about the pain they're causing. The Stoic philosopher Seneca emphasized the importance of kindness and justice, teaching that our actions should always reflect our inner virtue. When someone lacks empathy, they're fundamentally disconnected from these values. Lack of empathy is also evident in smaller, everyday interactions. For example, you might notice that someone constantly interrupts conversations to talk about themselves, shows little interest in what others have to say, or fails to offer help when it's clearly needed. These might seem like minor annoyances at first, but they add up to a pattern of behavior that reveals a deeper issue. The Stoics would remind us to be observant and discerning, understanding that these small signs are indicative of a person's true character. If you find yourself dealing with someone who consistently lacks empathy, it's important to set boundaries to protect your own mental and emotional health. The Stoics believed in the importance of maintaining our own well-being and not allowing the negativity of others to disturb our peace. You have the right to distance yourself from those who drain your energy and bring you down. Another major sign of an evil person is manipulation. Manipulation occurs when someone uses deceit or cunning tactics to control or influence others to get what they want. It's a subtle, often insidious behavior that can be incredibly damaging to those on the receiving end. Manipulators are skilled at twisting situations, making you question your reality and bending your will to suit their needs. This can leave you feeling confused, powerless, and unsure of your own judgments. Let's think about manipulation from a Stoic perspective. The Stoics valued clarity of thought and the ability to see things as they truly are. They taught that our perceptions should be grounded in reality, and that we should remain steadfast in our principles, no matter the external pressures. When someone manipulates you, they are attempting to cloud your perception and distort reality, making it difficult for you to stay true to these Stoic ideals. The common form of manipulation is gaslighting, where the manipulator tries to make you doubt your own memory, perception, or sanity. They might deny that certain events happened, or they might twist your words and actions to make you feel at fault. For example, let's say you confront a friend about something hurtful they said. Instead of acknowledging it, they might turn the tables, accusing you of being overly sensitive or misremembering the situation. This can erode your confidence and make you reliant on the manipulator's version of reality. Manipulators are also adept at playing the victim. They might guilt-trip you into doing things you don't want to do by making you feel responsible for their happiness or well-being. You might have a friend who constantly complains about their problems, expecting you to drop everything to help them, yet they are never there for you in return. They might say things like, "If you were really my friend, you'd do this for me," making you feel obligated to comply. The Stoics, especially Epictetus, emphasize the importance of understanding what is within our control and what is not. We cannot control others' actions or emotions, only our response to them. Consider how a manipulator might use flattery or charm to get their way. At first, this can feel great. They might shower you with compliments and make you feel special. But over time, you might notice that their praise comes with strings attached. They might compliment you when they want something from you, or when they need you to do something for them. This can make you feel like you owe them, or that you need to live up to their expectations to maintain their approval. The Stoics would remind us that true virtue and self-worth come from within, not from the fleeting approval of others. Manipulation can also take the form of isolation. A manipulative person might try to cut you off from your friends and family, making you more dependent on them. They might say things like, "Your friends don't really care about you," or "Your family doesn't understand you like I do." This tactic makes it easier for them to control you because you become more reliant on them for support and validation. The Stoics believed in maintaining strong, supportive relationships with others, recognizing that we are social beings who thrive in community. Isolation goes against these principles, as it weakens our support network and makes us more vulnerable to manipulation. Financial manipulation is another tactic used by evil people. They might borrow money, never repay it, or they might control your finances to limit your independence. For instance, a partner might insist on managing all the money in the relationship, making you ask for permission to spend anything. This control over finances can make it difficult for you to leave the relationship or assert your independence. The Stoics would encourage us to seek self-sufficiency and independence, ensuring that we are not unduly influenced or controlled by others. Recognizing manipulation for what it is can be challenging, especially when you care about the person involved. The Stoics teach us to be vigilant and discerning, to see things clearly and to act with integrity. If you suspect someone is manipulating you, take a step back and assess the situation objectively. Are they consistently prioritizing their needs over yours? Do they make you feel guilty or unsure of yourself? Are they trying to control aspects of your life or isolate you from others? It's important to set firm boundaries with manipulators and stand your ground. Communicate clearly and assertively about what you will and will not tolerate. Remember, you have the right to your own thoughts, feelings, and actions. The Stoics remind us that while we cannot control how others behave, we can control how we respond. By maintaining our inner strength and clarity, we can protect ourselves from the harmful effects of manipulation and stay true to our values. One of the most glaring signs of an evil person: controlling behavior. This goes beyond mere preferences or quirks. It's about someone who seeks to dominate every aspect of your life, leaving little room for your own autonomy and decisions. Controlling individuals often disguise their behavior as concern or care, but underneath, it's about power and control. The Stoics, who valued personal freedom and self-control, would see this behavior as fundamentally opposed to living a virtuous life. Controlling behavior can manifest in many ways. For instance, you might have a friend who insists on always choosing where you go and what you do together. While it might seem harmless at first, over time you start to realize that your preferences and opinions are consistently ignored or overridden. They might say things like, "I know what's best for us," or "You'll have more fun if you just listen to me." This isn't about mutual decision-making. It's about one person exerting their will over another. In relationships, controlling behavior can become even more dangerous. A partner might monitor your whereabouts, demand constant updates on your activities, and even dictate who you can and cannot see. They might go through your phone, check your messages, or insist on knowing all your passwords. This kind of surveillance and micromanagement can make you feel trapped and anxious, constantly walking on eggshells to avoid conflict. The Stoics, particularly Epictetus, emphasize the importance of maintaining your own inner freedom and autonomy, regardless of external pressures. Control can also come in the form of financial manipulation. A controlling partner or family member might take charge of all financial decisions, doling out money as they see fit, and keeping you financially dependent on them. They might say, "I handle the money because you're not good with finances." Or, "It's easier if I just take care of everything." This can strip you of your financial independence and make it difficult to leave the relationship or assert your own choices. The Stoics believed in self-sufficiency and managing your own resources wisely, viewing financial control as a form of enslavement that must be resisted. Another way controlling behavior shows up is through isolation. A controlling person might try to cut you off from friends and family, claiming that they're the only one who truly understands or cares about you. They might criticize your loved ones, saying things like, "Your friends don't really care about you," or "Your family is toxic." Over time, you might find yourself increasingly isolated, relying solely on the controlling person for support and companionship. The Stoics recognize the importance of community and supportive relationships, seeing isolation as detrimental to both personal growth and well-being. Controlling individuals also often use threats and intimidation to maintain their power. They might threaten to leave you, harm themselves, or even hurt you if you don't comply with their demands. This creates an environment of fear and anxiety, making it difficult to think clearly or make decisions that are best for you. The Stoics, especially Seneca, taught that we should face our fears and not allow others to intimidate us into submission. True courage and wisdom lie in standing firm against such threats and reclaiming our own power. It's important to understand that controlling behavior is about more than just wanting things done a certain way. It's about fundamentally undermining your ability to make your own choices and live your own life. The Stoics would advise us to recognize these behaviors for what they are: an attack on our autonomy and a violation of our personal freedom. By staying true to our values and maintaining our inner strength, we can resist the influence of controlling individuals and reclaim our right to live freely. If you find yourself dealing with someone who exhibits controlling behavior, it's crucial to set firm boundaries and assert your independence. Communicate clearly about your needs and limits, and don't be afraid to seek support from others who understand your situation. Remember, the Stoics teach us that we cannot control others, but we can control our own reactions and decisions. By staying grounded in our principles and valuing our own autonomy, we can protect ourselves from the harmful effects of controlling behavior and live more authentic, fulfilling lives. Another unmistakable sign of an evil person is pathological lying. This goes beyond the occasional white lie that most people tell. Pathological liars deceive constantly, often without any apparent reason. They fabricate stories, manipulate facts, and distort reality to suit their own needs or to gain an advantage over others. This behavior can be incredibly damaging to relationships, eroding trust and creating a web of deceit that's difficult to untangle. The Stoics valued truth and integrity above all else. They believed that a virtuous life was grounded in honesty and that deceit was a fundamental betrayal of one's character. Marcus Aurelius emphasized living in accordance with nature, which means aligning our actions with truth and reason. When someone lies pathologically, they are living in direct opposition to these principles, creating a false reality that benefits only themselves. Pathological lying can take many forms. It might start with small, seemingly harmless lies, like embellishing a story to make themselves look better or more interesting. Over time, these lies can escalate, covering up mistakes or wrongdoings and manipulating others to achieve their goals. A pathological liar might claim to have accomplished things they haven't, falsely take credit for others' work, or make up stories about their past to gain sympathy or admiration. This constant dishonesty creates a distorted view of reality where you can never be sure what's true and what's fabricated. Consider how a pathological liar might operate in a workplace. They might lie about their qualifications, exaggerate their contributions to projects, or spread false rumors about colleagues to sabotage them. This can create a toxic environment where trust is undermined, and people are constantly on edge, unsure of who to believe. The Stoics would advise us to remain steadfast in our own integrity, not allowing ourselves to be swayed by the deceitful actions of others. Epictetus taught that we should focus on what we can control, our own thoughts and actions, and not be disturbed by the dishonesty of those around us. In personal relationships, pathological lying can be even more destructive. Imagine being in a relationship with someone who constantly lies about their whereabouts, their past, or their feelings. This behavior can make you feel insecure, anxious, and constantly questioning your own perceptions. You might find yourself doubting your memory or second-guessing your instincts, which is exactly what the liar wants. They thrive on creating confusion and instability, keeping you off balance so they can maintain control. The Stoics would remind us to trust our own judgment and not be swayed by the manipulations of others. Seneca taught that true peace comes from within, and that we should not allow the deceit of others to disturb our inner tranquility. One of the most insidious aspects of pathological lying is that it's often difficult to detect at first. Pathological liars can be incredibly convincing, telling their lies with such confidence and detail that it's hard not to believe them. They might mix truth with lies, making it even more challenging to discern what's real. This is where the Stoic principle of vigilance comes into play. We must remain observant and critical, not taking things at face value, but instead seeking the truth through careful consideration and evidence. When you catch someone in a lie, pay attention to how they react. Do they become defensive or aggressive? Do they try to turn the tables and blame you? Or do they offer a plausible explanation that seems to make sense, even if it's just another layer of deceit? A genuine person will admit to their mistakes and strive to correct them, while a pathological liar will double down on their falsehoods, weaving an even more intricate web of lies. The Stoics would counsel us to remain calm and rational in the face of such behavior, recognizing it for what it is and not allowing it to provoke us. It's also important to consider the long-term impact of pathological lying. Over time, it can erode the very foundation of trust that any relationship is built upon. Once trust is broken, it's incredibly difficult to rebuild. You might find yourself constantly suspicious, always wondering if you're being lied to again. This can lead to a toxic cycle of mistrust and resentment. The Stoics believed in the importance of building strong, honest relationships based on mutual respect and understanding. When dealing with a pathological liar, you must decide whether it's worth trying to rebuild that trust, or whether it's healthier to distance yourself from their toxic influence. If you find yourself entangled with a pathological liar, it's crucial to set firm boundaries and protect your own mental and emotional well-being. The Stoics would advise us to remain true to our own values and principles, not allowing ourselves to be dragged down by the deceit of others. Be clear about what you will and will not tolerate, and don't be afraid to walk away from a relationship or situation that is built on lies. Remember, your peace of mind and integrity are more important than maintaining a connection with someone who consistently deceives you. Now, how can you protect yourself from these harmful behaviors while maintaining your peace and integrity? Setting boundaries is one of the most crucial skills you can develop when dealing with difficult or toxic people. Boundaries are about defining what you will and will not accept in your relationships, and they are essential for protecting your mental, emotional, and even physical well-being. The Stoics, who emphasized the importance of personal integrity and inner peace, would see boundary setting as a fundamental practice for maintaining a virtuous and tranquil life. First and foremost, it's important to recognize that setting boundaries is not about being harsh or unkind. It's about respecting yourself and ensuring that others respect you as well. The Stoics believed in the importance of self-respect and living in harmony with our true nature. By setting clear boundaries, you are not only protecting yourself, but also fostering healthier interactions with others. When it comes to setting boundaries, clarity is key. You need to be specific about what behaviors you will not tolerate and communicate this clearly and assertively. For example, if you have a friend who frequently belittles you or puts you down, you might say, "I appreciate our friendship, but I won't tolerate being spoken to in a disrespectful manner. If this continues, I will have to distance myself." This approach is direct and leaves no room for misinterpretation. According to Stoic principles, this kind of clear communication helps maintain order and respect in relationships. Another important aspect of setting boundaries is consistency. It's not enough to state your boundaries once and expect others to adhere to them without reminders. You must consistently enforce your boundaries, even when it's uncomfortable or difficult. The Stoics, particularly Epictetus, emphasized the importance of discipline and perseverance. By consistently upholding your boundaries, you demonstrate self-respect and teach others how to treat you. If someone repeatedly crosses your boundaries, it's a clear sign that they do not respect you or your limits, and it may be necessary to reassess the relationship. It's also important to remember that setting boundaries is not a one-time event, but an ongoing process. As relationships evolve, your boundaries may need to be adjusted. For instance, in a work environment, you might need to set boundaries around your availability and workload to prevent burnout. You could say to a colleague or supervisor, "I am happy to help with this project, but I cannot take on additional tasks beyond my current responsibilities." The Stoics would advise us to balance our duties and not overextend ourselves to the detriment of our well-being. One of the most challenging aspects of setting boundaries is dealing with the pushback or resistance you might encounter. People who are used to getting their way, especially those with controlling or manipulative tendencies, may not take kindly to your newfound assertiveness. They might react with anger, guilt-tripping, or even attempts to undermine your confidence. The Stoics teach us to remain calm and steadfast in the face of such challenges. Marcus Aurelius wrote about the importance of maintaining our composure and not being swayed by the negative emotions of others. When you encounter resistance, stay firm and remind yourself that your boundaries are necessary for your well-being. In some cases, setting boundaries might mean making difficult decisions, such as distancing yourself from certain individuals or even ending relationships that are toxic or harmful. This can be a painful process, but it's essential for preserving your mental and emotional health. The Stoics would remind us that our primary responsibility is to our own virtue and well-being. Seneca often spoke about the importance of choosing our associations wisely, recognizing that the company we keep can significantly impact our character and happiness. By distancing yourself from those who consistently violate your boundaries, you are making a powerful statement about your self-worth and commitment to living a virtuous life. It's also helpful to seek support from others when setting boundaries. This could mean talking to trusted friends, family members, or a therapist about your experiences and getting their input and encouragement. Sharing your struggles and successes with boundary setting can provide you with valuable perspective and strengthen your resolve. The Stoics valued community and the support of like-minded individuals. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the interconnectedness of humanity and the importance of mutual support. By leaning on your support network, you can find the strength to uphold your boundaries and maintain your well-being.